Hey, y'all. We are about to get started. Welcome in to another Reasonable Doubt Live after show. Y'all can start dropping y'all's ratings for the episode in the chat. I will be with you in 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes.
Here we are, baby.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody feeling on this good evening? I cannot wait to come and do this live with y'all. And I am also like stressed, just a little bit stressed. Hold on, y'all. Let me figure out. Okay, we just gonna have to vibe with what we got right here for right now. I'm really excited about this live because, like I said, I have been wanting to talk with y'all about this episode. This one was a lot for me. This one. Ooh, child. Welcome in to the season 2 finale of Reasonable Doubt live after show right here on Erica Vane TV. Let me double check before we get into it because the stuff that I want to get into, y'all can't miss a beat. I want to make sure the audio is good. Y'all give me the thumbs up if we're all good. I'm going to check on my phone as well. Welcome in to the okay. Season 2 it seemed like it. It seems like it. Y'all, I'm very excited to have this conversation, but also this episode was probably the most triggering episode of the entire season for me. So that part is what I'm kind of nervous about in doing this live. But you know, we as people, we as friends, we as tribe. So we're going to go ahead and get through it together. I'm going to go ahead and ask y'all now for some grace. Your girl is going to need all the grace that she can muster from you fine folks. And also, I took a second not took a second. While I was watching, I had to stop because I was so triggered. I had to stop the episode, and I did record what was going on. So like I was like verbally vomiting my processing, but I decided to record it because I felt like it could be something that I could use, and it could be a really great jumping off point to continue to unpack the episode during this live stream. So I have a couple of people who I have swinging by to talk tonight as well. Of course, I'm going to give y'all all of my thoughts, and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. But then I also have that video to share with y'all. And it's a little bit raw, but very much so real. Okay, we're trying a new LaCroix tonight. This is strawberry peach. I saw it when I was at Target earlier. Shout out to everybody who follows me on my personal channel. I go live every single day on my personal channel in vertical video because we still growing, trying to do some things over there. We're just putting this in a nice little wine glass because we fancy. We not. Oh, it smells good. Okay, this smells really good. Hey, Kelly Hester Jones. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Netta. Hey, Janelle. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Natoya. Hey, Robin. Hey, Kimberly Felder. Hey, Janelle. Hey, C. Walker. Kelly Hester Jones gave it a 10. Netta gave it a 10. Janelle gave it a 6. Oh, not a 6. I would love to know why you gave it a 6, boo. Let's discuss. Brittany gave it. Oh, let me get the comments on screen too. Brittany gave it 8.65 to be specific. Natoya gave it an 8. Robin said, Erica, why is this opening slide the return of Damon? Of course. Shout out to the creatives. Shout out to everybody who brought us Reasonable Doubt, because the way they didn't let me go with season 2 without a little bit of Damon, and they just kept sliding him in there. I appreciate that. Like, it feels like they love me. And you know what, y'all? This was the perfect end to the season, specifically with the inclusion of Damon. Like, we won't get any more of him now, but this is perfectly fine. I feel so validated. And of course, I'm going to talk to y'all about why I feel so validated, but I feel so validated in my adoration of Damon. Like, we're not excusing him for kidnapping her at all. And Erica be knowing. That's all I'm going to say. Brittany says, I really want something different, but I can't put my finger on what exactly. Ooh, so we're going to go ahead and unpack it. I was triggered so bad, y'all, and I cried. I cried on this episode. Robin gave it an 8. Oh, thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you. A lot of y'all have been loving this new look. This ain't going to be here for that much longer, so y'all better eat it up. I'm trying out different stuff right now, and I'm really figuring it out. I'm about to be going back into braids for the winter, but I'm trying to wait until my high school reunion. Then after that, the braids is coming back. Okay. Kimberly Felder gave it an 8. C. Walker gave it a 6. Robin says, I think it should have been at least a 2-hour finale of rushing through the statuses and the rest of the character. I get what you're saying. Jessica gave it a 10 across the board. Hey, Feed Me Righteously. How are you, boo? Janelle says, left me wanting more. I could have given it an 8. It deserved an 8. Okay. I mean, it's definitely up there. I don't know if I'm going to give it a 10, but I'm definitely like in a 9 range, maybe even a 9.5. I want to say I enjoyed the episode, but the episode really, 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 really emotionally triggered me. So I know it wasn't actually enjoying, but I appreciated the episode. If I was just ranking it off of appreciation and artistry and like what was communicated, I would give that 10s off the chart. But if I'm like the whole well-rounded, like take in also like factor in, did you enjoy it? No, I didn't enjoy it to the level of like a 10, but I enjoyed it to a level of a 9. But that's fine, because the things that like are mirrors for you, the things that make you uncomfortable and stretch you or pull out, you know, thoughts that you might have had or feelings that you might have had are not always going to be comfy cozy, right? Like they're going to be uncomfortable. And that's what this episode felt like. It didn't feel like, oh, I didn't enjoy it because it was trash. I didn't enjoy it because I felt like it reached down inside of me and was like, hey, remember you were talking about this? Yeah, here you go. And I'm like, all right. Well, all right. Well, okay. Well, all right. Well, okay. Feed Me Righteously says, I'm good. And you? Oh, great. You give it a 9. Perfect. Come on, 9. Janelle says, I appreciated it as well. It made you think. And you know, your good sis is here for what's going to make you think. And I'm coming to make you think even more. Like, yeah. Yeah. What was y'all's favorite moments, whether from the finale or from the season? Because like I said, at the beginning of this, we are breaking down the finale episode, but we have, we can talk about the entire season in this live, since this is it. This is all. We will not be back here next week talking about Reasonable Doubt. How do we feel? What was our favorite thing, whether of the season or of this episode? And then while you guys are dropping that into the chat, we got our confirmation. Shout out to everybody who clocked it very early on. Like, it was one of the daughters. The tea about that is that we knew she had a younger child that she dropped off, but I did not know how old Natasha was. So I didn't know if Natasha was in high school. I damn sure didn't know that Natasha was in college. So that was the part that they really were able to utilize the ambiguity that they had around the kids for us to not really be able to place it. If I would have known that Natasha was in college, I would have probably assumed that it was her from the jump. And then she was definitely taking the rap for her because she would have been tried as an adult, just like what Jax said. So that really benefited for them. That fact, or us not knowing that, or not really being able to like call to that, benefited them a lot. And shout out to the writers, because as a writer, when you're creating this type of stuff, you need to utilize the information that you give the audience to like throw them off or whatever. But then also you can utilize the information that you don't provide the audience and all of the empty space. And I think that they did that really, 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 really well. Robin said, right, we did not know she was that old, had no idea. I couldn't even place that girl. When I first seen, like, even while they were sitting in the courtroom, I wasn't really paying attention to her. I feel like she looked like a grown-ass woman in this, but like I didn't see that this whole entire time. Wait, why is it saying poor streaming? Let me refresh real quick, y'all. Hold on. YouTube is not receiving enough. Why not? You should be. Okay, it's fine now. Jessica said Natasha's character was better of the kid actors. Naima's storyline definitely fell flat. I think they should have had a scene of them revealing the truth about Paul, since the theme was truth and kids. Ooh. I mean, she did talk to her mom about Paul last season, so that might be why they didn't do it. But I could totally see that. Brittany said, my favorite part. Erica, why would you even ask me that? Cory Cash. That's how I read your comment in my head. That is exactly how I read your comment in my head, Brittany. Janelle said the writers did a good job. Yes. Kimberly says Cory's presence was my favorite part. Y'all still swooning? Y'all gonna miss him? They did a little farewell to him on socials, on TikTok and on Instagram Reels. They did a that's a wrap for Cory Chestnut. So I'm thinking that he's not going to be in the next season. And then he's starring in Watson. So I'm thinking that he won't be in season 3. See, Walker said, looking back, they definitely left us clues. Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. That's how it was spoken. Yes, we see each other. I don't even know where I do know where I want to start, but I don't want to jump into the date like that. Where do y'all want to start, actually? This is y'all's world, and I'm just a squirrel. Super giddy about beautiful, amazing writing, and like being able to go on a journey for an hour with the series that is just getting it right. And honestly, this episode did it so right that I forgive them for the last 2 episodes. Like, I feel like the last 2 episodes were perfect setup for what we got with this one. I don't know. Am I the only one? I feel like maybe we can start at the top. Oh, goodness. Erica, you are out of sorts. This episode was so it was just really spot on for like something that I hope to emulate within my career in reference to how it made people feel, or the power it had to move feelings and emotions. Okay. We can start at the top. Let's start at the reveal of what really happened. We learn. Yeah. We learn that Jamarion came home while Chanel was attempting to make her exit. And then all hell proceeds to break loose because he is a Damon. And that is typically what they do. That is typically what they bring. Hell, fire, and brimstone. This wasn't even the part that made me cry, but it was a very interesting start, and it was still a very emotional start. It is so hard for me to watch women experience domestic abuse. And I could only imagine like what these two actors went through to get to this particular place with this scene, because it was just so well done in the most scary, eerie, oh my word kind of way. The progression of anger, the subtle hints to like gaslighting, that you can see her confidence attempt to build, and like her frustration, and like once she gets to the point where she's like, you know what, he's like, I'm gonna keep everything, like whatever you want it, you can have it, I don't give a I'm leaving regardless. And he's like, and she's just like, I'm cool, if that's what it takes for me to have my life and be able to walk out of here, fine. However, I did clock the exact moment that it was going to be no saving her if that man was still breathing. And that is when she said, but I'm taking my damn kids. Girl, I can't show that now. We ain't trying to get all types of taken down by YouTube. They were just so, this was a lot to watch. This was a lot. And honestly, while watching it, I took a second to like pray for anyone currently suffering within a domestic violence situation, with anyone who has survived, or for anyone who has survived a domestic violence situation. Because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of women, not only in the US, but also around the world, who suffer at the hands of their romantic partner in this toxic ass relationship situation, wanna be family, wanna be all of the things that it's actually not, and it is really hard to see. But I do appreciate Reasonable Doubt, because I think we need to see this. This needs to be more covered in mainstream media, so that one, the women who are suffering in these circumstances can see that they're not alone, and that they're seen, and their stories can be told. But then also people who aren't actually experiencing it, who might not know, can get a front row seat and like maybe get coaxed into being allies and support, so that maybe we can find a way for this to actually end. Y'all got any thoughts about the domestic violence scene when we started? Kimberly says, I like that they show what actually happened to JT. Yeah, I agree. Robin says, but he did say he didn't die, so he could be back. Like maybe as their lawyer. Because they're gonna need a good one. Who? Wait, are you talking about Cory? Janelle says that scene was difficult to watch. Kimberly says, I feel bad for Natasha. She has to be in therapy for a while. Baby. Janelle says, kudos to the writers and the actors. That was definitely a lot to swallow, especially at the top. Like, they jumped in so hot. They were like, we're not playing with y'all. This is the final episode. We're not playing. And I've never experienced this, thank God. But for whatever reason, it feels like this was spot on. Like, his whole I should have did this a long time ago felt like he meant that that man meant that. Sir, I would say, are you okay? But you're absolutely not okay. It was hard to watch and reminded me of what's love got to do with it. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Okay, let me check real quick, y'all. See if my guests are starting to come in. Brittany says, and the fact that that man had thousands of people believing that he was a victim despite all of that evidence otherwise was triggering too. Child. And so many points like that. But then we also live in a patriarchal society, right? So people are going to believe men. People are going to trust men. Like, that's what's going to happen. I'm also looking at the mama. The mama is triggering. You know that you birthed this heathen. You know that, like, you know all of this that's going on. This boy was really ready to kill this girl, and you are sitting in this damn, in the gallery at this trial for weeks, resenting her for living. Resenting her for not dying how your son wanted her to. The world is full, quite full of demons, child. Y'all, EJ is in the building. Shout out to EJ, the TV junkie. Oh, I forgot to put your link in my description box. I'm gonna go back and put it in there. Mavis needs to be whooped. Mavis needs to be border whooped. I'm like, it might be time to send Mavis. You miss your son, don't you? That's what Glorilla said. Have y'all listened to Glorilla's new album? Glow said, I'ma send you to your friends since you say you miss them. Your dead homies, you say you miss them, I'ma send you there. Mavis, you miss your son so bad, we can arrange. We can arrange a reunion. It's nothing, ho. It's nothing, ho. Like, we can definitely arrange a reunion with you and your devilish ass son. Don't even worry about it. Okay, let me stop playing and get EJ in here. Chanel told the mama in the end. She did. She didn't get enough off. Like, I kind of wanted her to slap the mama, but then also violence not the answer. Violence not the answer. She did get something off with her, but Mavis, like, it feels like Mavis still got off scot-free. So maybe in future seasons, we're going to see it spin the block and maybe Mavis ends up in jail. I would love for something to happen to her. Would love that. But while I get ready to bring in our guests, I'm going to let y'all, this is going to be a great little segue, I guess. This is going to be it's going to be a good segue, because I don't know. Y'all might be like, Erica, calm your ass down after you watch this. But this is going to be a segue into, the most emotional part of this episode for me, as for me and my house, right? Y'all go ahead to bed with your good sis. Let me do that. Hold on, y'all. I thought I had it right here. Or oh, I didn't even check if it finished uploading. I thought it did. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all. My thing didn't actually upload it, so give me a second. Not freaking. Oh Lord, this has been a very long day. Please hold.
Who is McCartney Arts? Like at the end of every year, they do a showcase where students perform.
Okay, y'all, this is the message that I recorded while I was, well, not message. It was literally just me unpacking the moment when Damon popped on screen. And I think that this is going to give like a little bit of clarity for some of the things that I have been saying and the critiques that I have. So not only just with Lewis. Hold on one second. It might be. Not only just with Lewis, but in the feedback that I have given y'all thus far about the Damon character as it pertains to Jax. So hopefully I can get this thing to play. I don't know why it's not. It's giving shit show. This is giving shit show right now. Yeah, even at a lesser quality, it should be able to play. Should I pull it up in Chrome? Bruh. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still having technical difficulties. I don't know if it's because I'm streaming. It's not playing. Hey, Candy Loves to Talk TV. How are you, boo? Why is this not working? Y'all, I might gotta save it because I don't know. And it's gonna take a second for it to download. It's not on my computer. Okay, we're gonna just, I guess, go on. Because what the hell is that about? Y'all, give me a second. I'm getting EJ and the rest of the guests in here. Yes. All right, we're back, y'all. After so much technical difficulties, I am so very sorry. Thank you for your patience. Let me just double check because I had to restart my entire computer and make sure. I want to make sure that the live is back up. I think I reconnected to the live, but I'm not 100% sure. So Lordy. I'm really excited to open up my channel and invite some other people on. Tonight I have EJ, the TV Junkie. You can follow her channel at EJ, the TV Junkie, as well as Miss Kira Speaks and the Lawrence Report, which you guys might have seen them in the chat. But they are going to be chiming in. Kira and EJ are going to be on screen, and then Lawrence, you're just going to catch the sexy audio and the baritone in his voice. Let me just go ahead and bring them in. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. This is a premiere for EJ and for Kira. How are y'all? Welcome. How y'all doing? I just realized I was in Discord. So y'all didn't get to hear me actually do y'all's intros. I'm sorry about that. This is a premiere for EJ and Kira. I know, Lawrence, you're not new here, but they are both new to the actual channel. Welcome. Thank y'all so much for saying yes at the very last minute to come on and have a conversation with me about Reasonable Doubt. How y'all feeling tonight?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, feeling good.
Of course. EJ, how you doing over there? Y'all been so patient. I appreciate you.
I'm good, girl.
So what are y'all's general thoughts about the episode? I kind of started the live and said my general thoughts. I have this very emotional little moment that I had because I cried during this episode. But what are y'all's general thoughts before we jump into the nitty gritty of the episode?
I'll let the ladies go first.
I enjoyed it. I was sad to see Cory go. I hope he can return next season, is my hope. I didn't expect the ending, but overall, it's pretty good. Couple of little, things, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I thought it was pretty good. I have no issues with it. I mean, I had a few issues with it, but it was good.
Come on, a few issues.
This season finale for me absolutely lived up to the hype. Like it was just everything. It was just everything I thought it was going to be and more. It had me when I finished watching this episode, I just had to go into the living room. I was sitting on the couch. I was just in deep thought. About everything that happened this season, and just this final episode, just the icing on the cake for me.
Okay. I'm not sure if y'all were here at the beginning of the live, but it's similar. This episode was so emotional for me, but I am so appreciative. Like this episode actually made episodes 8 and 9 a little bit more worthwhile because those were like kind of my least favorite episodes of the entire season. So now that we got, like, I feel like this episode was definitely set up brilliantly by those two episodes. What is your favorite thing from, or favorite moment, or favorite character from either this season as a whole or the finale?
Cory. I wish we had. I know that sounds so bad because it's Jax's show, and I really do like Jax. We kind of redeemed her character more this season than last season because the first season she was out there, but we redeemed ourselves this season.
Come on, she was out there.
I just like he was. I just just like him being there. What I wanted to know, they didn't tell us, is what exactly were you doing in Chicago before you got there? That's what I wanted to know. They didn't really get into that. We got into the case that he wanted to win for the lady.
Gotcha.
Give Jax a little pushback. Give her a little taste of her own medicine because honestly, she was really supposed to be healing this season anyway. So she didn't need to take on no whole case head on. So I just enjoyed his presence throughout the series.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved having Morris Chestnut. I mean, Cory Chestnuts, whoever he is. I loved it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That was like one of the best parts of it. That and just the storytelling altogether, to be honest, they do a great job on this story. To me, they bring everything together, they bring it around full circle, and I like the fact that we're sticking to a theme. I feel like that just because as I was watching it at the very end, as we get toward the end, I'm just waiting for, okay, what's the next case gonna be? Like, I was excited to hear about that part. Like, I had to stay in tune with it because I needed to know what the next case was gonna be. So I feel like they have this formula and they've just played on it, and I love it. I just hope
Yeah.
they keep it up.
Yeah. Lawrence?
Y'all ever bit into a juicy steak and the steak was just so good you couldn't believe you was just eating it up right there? That's what this was for me. I mean, my favorite characters outside of Jax and Cory, I kind of enjoyed the therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of appreciate how he was trying to break everybody down when it came to Lewis and Jack. So,
Come on, break
uh,
everybody down.
yeah, I mean, in a good way, he was, trying to help them put the pieces of the puzzle when it came to their marriage and how they end up getting to the point of where they at and if they can actually fix it. So, besides Jax and Lewis, I definitely enjoyed the therapist.
Mm. That is so interesting. So like Kira, you mentioned Jax needed to heal this season. Did you come into the season not necessarily a Jax Stewart fan, or like tell me how you actually everybody. Let's go around and y'all tell me how y'all came into the season regarding Jax.
I mean, I'm a root for the brown girl every time. We're gonna root for the brown girl. So I was rooting for her even when she was tearing her butt the first season. But I really thought that she was gonna slip up and repeat her old ways with Cory. I thought that's where we were going. I said, please don't do that to us. Please, please,
Yeah.
please. Let her learn some type of lesson and move on from this. And if you want your husband, work on your husband. If you don't want your husband, then leave your husband. So yeah.
Okay, so you didn't
No,
have a
kind of
dog in the
hard.
fight either way.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
okay.
I said we're gonna let it play out. I was rooting for her, but I have my good eye on her just in case.
Come on, my good eye.
Mm-hmm.
EJ, how you feel about Jax coming into season 2?
Listen, I ain't got no problems with Jax. I'm always gonna be rooting for Jax. I want to see Jax win at every corner. So when she came into this thing, I felt like she was a little, like she was trying to heal. I don't want to call her broken exactly, because I felt like that trauma hit her. I mean, it hit her hard from the whole Damon situation, and I just wanted to see my girl win. I just wanted to see her figure it out, get it together, and win. Now, I ain't gonna lie, as to Miss Kira's point, there was that moment of weakness that I was screaming at the TV. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. As much as I want to see it, don't do it. But
Mm.
I was happy. I love Jax.
Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, we all rooting for Jax. At one point in time, like the rest of the ladies said, I thought her and Cory was going to go all the way, but she stopped because she still cares a lot about Lewis and she actually trying to work this thing out. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Was Jax ever toxic? Sometimes I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You be full of it, Lawrence, because you love to ask your little questions with your little answers seated in your head, and you just be wanting to stir the damn pot. That's what that is. Talking about something you just wonder. You already know how you feel about her.
We love Jax. We love Jax.
Lawrence let her walk the little tightrope. I peep game now. I didn't peep you, friend. I didn't
You
peep
peep
you.
me?
Yes, you be walking a little politically correct tightrope, and you know my ass is ready to crash out every time. Every time. What I will say, y'all, is like this episode solidified a beautiful arc for me for Jax as a character. Like nobody will ever be able to tell me anything about Jax Stewart. I will ride for her to the end of time unless season 3, 4, 5, and 6 she starts to do some goofy but I just appreciate so hard the woman that they put on screen for us by way of Jax this season. And I think that the majority of the audience is going to miss most of the beauty that is her. Like, of course, they're catching the bomb pixie cut and the chocolate skin and the fit body and all of that. But like, to me, the most beautiful thing about Jax is how open and vulnerable she was displayed on screen, whether it is her buckling down and get into business, right? Because we know her as this very high-powered attorney that gets things done, wins cases, yada, yada, yada. But the moments that really hit me were the like polar opposite. Like, I think this was like an episode 2 where we get to see her crying in her car. And just the little various things where she actually like breaks down. I don't think I realized in watching this season that we don't get to see Black women do that enough, but we get to see the strong Black woman trope. And again, I'm going to the ends of the earth fighting for Jax, because I do feel like when people entered into season 2, most people were not actually rooting for her. Most people were slut shaming her. Most people were saying she was ridiculous. And I think that this season, and watching her healing journey, watching her therapy journey, watching her career and the choices that she made within that, watching what she did within her family, really created a better picture of who this woman is. And I think that she's actually really, really awesome. So for me, it's no Jax slander ever. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all said that y'all was rooting for her, but it's gonna be Lewis slander forever. It's gonna be Lewis slander forever for me.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Erica Vane. Don't do
Listen,
that. Don't be
I watched part of y'all's panel last week, or y'all did it this week, I think, because you might have missed it last week. I don't know. I was like off, I guess, in the timing. But EJ, I seen you going back talking about, you know what? I'm married and I'm going to dub it this. They both cheated. When you step outside your marriage and have sex, you cheated regardless of it being a break. Are you standing on that, EJ?
I'm absolutely standing on that. For me and my house. For me and my house.
Listen, I'm not shading you or either way. I'm like, oh, now her making an adjustment. So in that, since they both cheated, do you got more smoke for Lewis? Or are you still like, well, he's just misunderstood and he's trying and he done did this? What is your thoughts on Lewis now that you have like arrived at a different place as it pertains to the sex?
As it pertains to that one particular part, like I said, this is just me personally, I think they both cheated. I don't agree with they were on a break thing. So I just feel like they both cheated when it was all said and done. But however, I still feel the same exact way I have always felt about Lewis. I feel like Lewis is out here trying. He really is trying. And because I see your face, and I still feel the same. Like, nothing has really changed in that aspect of it, though. No, in all seriousness, though, nothing has really changed in that aspect of it. I really feel like, for me, I got what you were saying. Like, I completely understood that you wanted to see more from Lewis and that you wanted to see more growth from him. And you felt like we saw more growth from Jax because we could visibly see it. And we didn't see Lewis really trying. And I completely understood that. And I was like, okay, I can see that. Because I went back and I sat with it and then I looked at it a little bit deeper. And I was like, okay, I can see that particular part of it as well. I could see where other people don't see where there's a real, and this is why I think this. Walk with me here for a second. I think, and I don't want to make it sound like Lewis is perfect, because that's not what I'm saying. So I want to preference that with, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I think we didn't see any faults in Lewis in season 1 because they focused on so many of Jax's faults.
Well, can I pause you here, friend, without you losing your train of thought?
Yeah.
Did we not see any faults in Lewis, or are we conditioned to look over some of the inherent faults of what we define manhood to be?
We can go with that too.
Because your girl seemed like I was on. When I tell you Lewis rubbed me the wrong way from the moment he came on screen. But Go ahead, finish your thought.
Wow.
Yeah. So I feel like because we didn't really get to see that in the sense of like we weren't zoomed in on Lewis's faults because we were so focused on Jax's faults that by the time we got over into season 2 and they started showing us where Lewis kind of falls short as well. It was a little, to me that was a little more difficult. Like I didn't feel like there needed to be a huge change from season 1 Lewis and to season 2 Lewis, if that makes sense, because I didn't see very many faults in season 1 Lewis. So I couldn't see him where you were saying he wasn't working as hard like how Jax was working, and you could see that she did XYZ and you could point out those visible things. I felt like we just didn't see all those things in Lewis in the beginning to really be able to see those little minor things as we get over there. And I get, for you they were larger things, but for me they were minor things, because I was like, okay, I didn't even notice that about him before. I didn't notice this about this character. I didn't notice that, this, there were some things. Now don't get me wrong, there were the big things that in this season that were pointed out. I mean, you can't be so dumb as to say, oh, I thought she was whatever he said, that stupid stuff he said about the no condom thing. That was dumb. I can't I can't hold Lewis up in that bull. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that. But other than that, I think that was like the biggest shift for me. So I will say that I took a lot of the things that you said and I really, really thought about them. But I still stand on the fact that I think for Jax, Lewis is still a good partner as long as they continue to try, as long as they continue to be honest and build upon that. I think they work for each other.
Yeah. Is there anything that, Kira, I don't know your perspective on this. I just happen to be on the Girls Live, and EJ hosts a live with Moochie and with Tamika's Den and with Inga, and I happened to be on their live 2 weeks ago, and we got to like go at it a little bit about Lewis. So if y'all like Lawrence or Kira, if y'all want to chime in on what me and EJ are talking about here, then feel free to do so. Like, you can just jump in.
I think Lewis definitely had his faults in season 1, but Jax's were so much bigger that, like she said, we kind of focus on that because we started with him having cameras in the house when he was watching her with old boy. So we started with that. We started with you moving out and living in a separate house. All the while, y'all are in therapy this season. Y'all could have went to therapy last season. So he had his shortcomings in season 1, but she was just so out there that it was like he didn't look as bad as Jax was looking out in these streets. But
yeah,
Lawrence, he had some room for improvement. Just a little bit.
So you're not team Lawrence, Kira?
What, Team Lewis?
Team Lewis.
I'm sorry, Team Lewis. Yeah. You are. You have to be. You have to be.
You know what my issue was with him this season? Was that he lied. When he first lied, and she said, "Do I know who it is?" I said, that's going to come back to bite him in the behind. Had he just been upfront, we wouldn't even have to get to the rest of this, but we're making a show, so here we are. But
I don't think she answered the question. You Team Lewis? Okay. I already know. The moment that I ask somebody, "Are you Team Lewis?" and you don't respond, that I know that you are. You just got to be. Because you asked Erica that, you ain't even gonna get the question out all the way before I say hell to the no.
That's how your chat is feeling. I'm flip flopping a little bit. I'm flip flopping. I'm, one day I'm on this side, the other day I'm on the next side. I must admit. So we
have a blessing to have the men folks up in here. Lawrence, you gonna speak for the men folk?
Shout out to everybody rocking for Team Lewis. Listen,
I am riled up, Lawrence.
Listen, I can't believe what I've been seeing, but I guess I should have known. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just really shocked that a lot of sisters was like, "Yo, I definitely would have took Lewis back." You know what I'm saying? I guess some women have been in predicaments. Some women, there's plenty of women out here right now that are literally dating men like Lewis, right? But I guess for some women, everybody's gonna do it different. For some women, they're kicking Lewis to the side, like they're done. For other women, they're gonna try to work it out with Lewis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's your opinion as the men folk?
Right.
He dancing around it.
Exactly. Y'all see him? Y'all see him walking this tightrope?
Am I Team Lewis? No, I'm not Team Lewis.
That break baby was a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things why I'm not Team Lewis, because I'm like, bro, how you not going to use a rubber? Like, how you just, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. I cannot defend Lewis at all, but what I do believe, come season 3, they're going to write Lewis an incredible story arc. Mark
He wasn't
my
written
word.
terribly here. He
He was
was
written
written like
terribly
a
here.
Negro.
He was written terribly here because all
No,
the
he
bad
wasn't.
things.
He wasn't written terribly. Like, I feel like that's another thing, and I'm like starting to get better about articulating this in my critiques. Like, I got hella smoke for people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the character is written bad. Like, when I'm going through Zima, and I'll tell y'all asses, like, this is terrible. Like, the writing is actually terrible. But the Lewises exist. Like you said, there's plenty of women that are dating Lewises or married to Lewises, and I think that they did that man justice in like showing him. But in offering up criticism and like speaking to what I feel like are the problems with that man doesn't mean that he was poorly written. It actually probably means that he's is really spot on. And at least for me, I wouldn't say I've dated a Lewis. I've dated men who've presented in like been in community, not even specifically dated actually, been in community with men who have presented certain traits that Lewis presents, but typically, like, and even in this, we're kind of having two different conversations because for y'all, the biggest issue that Lewis did was have the break baby, and that isn't even the biggest issue for me. That's just the straw that breaks the camel back for me. Like, who Lewis is as a person is the biggest issue for me. So I would argue, like, and I mean, you can still have your opinion, Lawrence, but I would argue that again, Lewis is not terribly written. He's actually really spot on for way too many men, which is probably why I'm like, yeah, we need to let y'all know how y'all are falling short so you could get it right.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely did love, whenever it came, I think it was 2 episodes ago when Lewis was just breaking down to Jax saying, I exist because of you and those things. I think that was a great key moment for Lewis. Like, bro realized he fumbled. He dropped the ball in the end zone. He messed up big time because the repercussions of this thing is so bad. But yeah, I'm definitely not Team Lewis. Like I said to myself, the stuff that he did was just you just can't take it back.
I think where I wavered, like you said, was that baby, because Mama has been in some situations, and that baby is a hard thing to move past. So when Jax was like, I'm gonna make it work, I was like, no, girl, no,
Baby.
no, we not. And he dodged a bullet at the end of the season. I'm like,
and honestly, I'm kind of pissed that he gets to dodge the bullet, but I don't get my way, so it's fine. They gave me Damon, so I'll take it. That is like a perfect.
Oh my goodness.
That is a perfect segue into where I'm going next. Go ahead, EJ. What's up?
I was just gonna say, how do you feel like he dodged the bullet? Because I feel like the bullet is about to come and bite him right now. Like, I feel like it's about to just.
I'm saying in terms of the baby.
It's just a matter of time before Tony comes out and end up spilling the beans. I could see her accidentally spilling the beans to the son, to Naima, the son.
Okay. I mean, if they don't wind up settling and the kids still find out, I'm thinking like the kids are still not going to find out. I was pissed that they didn't tell the kids immediately. Like, tell the kids from the beginning and let them go through the journey with you, and you eat every single thing that comes from that. That for me, it was a choice. Like, yes, it's a choice as parents. That's what y'all chose to do, but it feels like it's a thing that's sparing Lewis. And at the risk of sounding like a man hater, because I don't hate men, but I don't do mediocre, goofy ass loser men. I do exceptional men. I do men who are trying to evolve. I do men who are leading their lives in a way that want to be their best selves and higher versions of themselves, because that's the life that I damn live. And these little mediocre loser ass men can just miss me, like Lewis. For me, I don't like the idea of coddling him from the consequences of his actions. And the fact that you're asking your wife to do that consistently, whether it's her eating this damn baby and like making it okay and making you feel good about it, or making you feel comfortable, or not telling the kids so that they don't look at you a certain way, or so that you don't have to deal with it. Half the reason why we're in the space that we are with the betrayal from him is because he didn't tell Jax, because he wasn't ready to hear her mouth about it. Like, sir, when are we gonna grow some balls and be a goddamn man? Black women have to eat the consequences of their actions constantly. Meanwhile, men, and I'm saying this not even just from a like romantic space, but even I think about within my family and how on my mother's side, there are still women in my family who have taught us and continue to coddle the men in our lives. So they do less, they work less, they like all of these things. And then we got to fucking fill in the gap. Like, no. What were we about to say?
No, I was saying, but she kind of left it up to him, and that's what he decided to do now. Yeah, he should have spoke
As
up.
the loser he is. That's my point. Yeah, he just keep giving everybody reasons to see him as a loser, but y'all don't be seeing him as the loser that he is. She gave him the choice, and he chose the loser option, like the loser he is. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that was his choice. But the reason I say he dodged a bullet is because a trial is temporary. A baby is forever. So the baby's gone. So we can get through this trial and move on with our lives. And yeah, things will get shaken up and the kids will find out and they'll be mad. And then eventually people will get over it and we move on. Yep. But that kid is forever. So that's why I say he dodged a bullet. Not to be mean, but that's why I say he dodged a bullet.
No, you're right. You're like spot on.
He dodged a bullet in that sense, but I still feel like he's still going to have to face the consequences of his actions, which is what it's all about when it's all said and done, is that Lewis should have said something after the baby was born, because I said I didn't necessarily think that he should say something before the baby was born, because we didn't know if the baby was going to get here or not. I didn't know if we should rock the boat right then, but I was like, once it gets close to the baby being born, or once, somewhere around there, then we should definitely sit the kids down, talk about it, have a conversation, and let's, do what we need to do. But when that baby was born and he still didn't want to talk about it, I was like, come on, Lewis. I ain't going to be able to defend you on this one, bro. I can't defend you on this one. Like, you definitely should have said something, because we didn't know if the baby was, I knew the baby wasn't going to make it. But in terms of the television show, we didn't know if the baby was going to make it or not. They said that the baby was looking good, So it seemed like the baby might have made it. So at this point, yes, you should have been sitting the kids down and having that conversation with them now that the baby is here. So that part I definitely disagree with. I still am not going to say that makes Lewis the trash of a man that Erica V wants him to be.
Not wants him to be, baby. I would love for him to be better. I would love for him to grow a pair and speak up. I would love for him to grow a pair and not just put on this machismo when he come into the room with more chestnuts, or with Cory Chestnuts, when he want to puff out his chest and look like a man then, but then when he at home, he want to be cowering and like hiding from conversations and running from this and running from that. He only want to peacock as a man when he in front of another real ass man. But when it comes time to lead his family, when it comes time to lead his woman, when it comes time to be there how he's supposed to be there for his kids and not ridicule them for doing what he dibs gay activities, he's nowhere to be found. I would love for him to not do any of those things, but he's chosen the opposite.
Erica.
But if
he
you
rectified himself with that one. Come
on. also, if you remember on that previous episode, Lewis was like, "Oh yeah, we should tell the kids," and Jack's like, "No, there's no we. You should tell the kids. I'll be there to back you up, but this is the bed that you made." You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
She was right for that though, like 100%. This is
And
Lewis's bed, and he did make this
But
bed.
that's the point of making. She had to even say that. Why did she have to say that?
Right.
But you quote unquote with a leader.
Because we also in a partnership too. Although I agree that
he said we should tell the kids. She gotta say, who the hell is we? Y'all in a partnership, but as a partnership, I did X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to do. How you feel about it? Not we.
Okay, but did we sit them kids down and say, well, because I don't know, because we can't really speak to this side of the story because they haven't told us. And I don't want to say nothing bad about Jax, because y'all know I love me some Jax. But every time I feel like I have to go in and say this
Please
one
do.
little thing.
Please do.
I have to say, did we sit the kids down and tell them why mama is traumatized and all the things that happened and why this, that, and the third happened? I'm talking about Damon, speaking about Damon and all the things that happened with that. Did we sit the kids down and talk to them about it? I don't know, because they don't really tell us. But I'm just wondering, because
from the character development, EJ, like keeping it a buck, from the character development, do you think that we set the kids down? Or if the kids actually had questions, did Jax have to have that conversation? Similar to the conversation one-on-one that she had about giving up cigarettes, which Lewis smokes as well, with their son, who is also vaping.
I had to think about it like that, I would say that maybe, possibly, but I needed to see it.
Come on, no.
I don't know.
Jax is the one who has the tough conversations. Jax is the one who pushes everything forward within their family, and Lewis is just going along to get along, but still wants to maintain the figurehead of I'm the man. And I got a problem with that. If that's the case, then go get some little weak ass woman so that you could do that. Because it wasn't a we to sit down and say, you know what, you were right about, you know what, I'm out here smoking, your dad is out here smoking, you peeped it, but we all going to give it up. No, that was just Jax. Similar to always been just Jax with various conversations, even in season 1 when he was like not checking Spencer for coming at Jax the way that he was.
Yeah.
So even to that point of like, yes, him saying we was off base, was not giving leader, was definitely not giving the man of the damn house. And it speaks to who his character is.
Okay, so if he did say that, if let's just say, for example, he did take the lead, as you say, because I don't feel like he's not taking the lead. I just feel like he's trying to be more of a partnership. I'm gonna stick with that word. But let's just say that he did use the specific words, right? Let's just say that he does take the absolute lead, and I'm using your words. These are not mine, they're yours. Let's say he did that. Then would we turn around and say that now Lewis is not including Jax in this partnership? Like, would we be okay with him just always taking? Because I feel like we live in this society now.
Like, I think you're really like commingling ideas. Nobody is saying that he has to say, I'm going to sit the kids down and talk to them. If he wants to be in partnership as you're describing, and then also make that strong leader statement, hey, this is what's happening. I don't have a problem with sitting the kids down and talking to them and explaining to them what's going on. If you would like to be in it, cool. But if you wouldn't, I understand that as well. That, to me, is leadership. But the default going to we, that is where a lot of men, not even just Lewis, but a lot of men have found comfort in relying on a black woman that stand next to them, whether it's their wife, whether it's their mother, whether it's their sister, because we tend to be the ones ready to like get up and do and say and like confront and da-da-da-da-da. And Lewis has that energy, has always had that energy. He leads like that. When it's something of any real consequence, when it's something of any real concern, it's we. Was it we when you was like dragging me down to the sex club? That was you. You were mad that I was 3 months postpartum, not ready to bust it wide open, and you was like, "Yeah, we need to do this." Like,
I just think in that scenario right there, Jax, Lewis didn't need Jax to push him. He should have just stepped up to the plate himself and realized that, you know what, I did make this mistake, and I am going to talk to the children. I'm not going to play around. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to talk to the children and tell them everything that's been going on as the leader of the house. And like you said, Erica, it seemed like he only wanted to puff out his chest whenever another man, as far as him being intimidated by another man who may be around, who may be a threat to Jax.
Lewis doesn't like to have the uncomfortable conversations. Let's just say that. Very much how we get in society with moms and dads. He wants to be good time dad. He don't want to have any serious conversation. He doesn't want to have anything heavy, just like he ran over there with the school and told Spencer before he even told Jax anything about the school and made her look like the bad guy. He don't like having this.
But we can do the odds then. We could come up with a plan then. Magic.
He just wants
magic.
Be good time dad. Good time dad. No serious. Leave the serious conversations for mom. Dad is here for a good time.
But you want to convince me that that's a leader. It's not.
But there's a lot of dynamics that are like that, where there's one partner who is the one who is who takes on the role of, I'll do this, and then the other partner is the one who doesn't necessarily have those conversations and leaves those conversations for the other person. I don't necessarily think that makes him weak, though. I guess that's just where I'm at with it. I don't think that makes him weak. I think that makes him not only human, but I also think that just makes him a man that does have some flaws. And I just look at Lewis from the standpoint of, and I know where you're going to go with this, because I peeped you.
You said I
I know
know
where you're gonna
before I
go with
say
this.
it.
Um, I don't want to say, because I don't want this to come out the wrong way, because it is not right to settle for anything, or to settle for anything that is less than. And I know there are a lot of bad examples of men out there, point blank and period, right? But I just don't put Lewis in that category. I feel like Lewis can grow from these things that we're talking about. I feel like these are all things that Lewis can get better at. I don't feel like Lewis is the one that you just throw to the trash just because of these particular things. I feel like I still believe in Lewis. In other words, I feel like Lewis has some growth. Like I said, I went back with it. I looked at those things that you talked about, and I can see some of those little things. I can see some of those moments where Lewis kind of cowers down a little bit and not necessarily steps up to the plate. But I don't think that that makes him weak, and I don't think it necessarily makes him a man that you just say, okay, he's not worthy of Jax. I think he can be worthy of Jax, and I think that he just has to work a little bit harder at it. But I'm not ready to throw him away.
My
You could
question
definitely
to
go
you
to the
though,
play. He has
EJ,
to do
is
it.
when he can grow, when he
Yeah.
can work harder, when he can deserve Jax, when. That is my
The
biggest
therapist was
pushback,
kind of
because my
pushing him
thing
towards
is,
that.
but not enough. My thing is, you're right. He has the potential there, but I decided quite a long time ago that we were done. We were done settling with and attempting to be the little engine that could for men with potential. And women like Jax cannot do that with men with potential, especially if they don't have any get up and go about them. So while you're speaking to, oh, Lewis could possibly do this, Lewis can grow, Lewis da 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 da, yes, but he is still deciding not to, and we're exiting the season that way. We're exiting the season with the biggest thing on him is being slapped with a damn lawsuit, and him not realizing that he is shaky ground for his family still, because every single thing that he entered the season with in episode 1, he's still exiting with. He still has these insecurities. He's still the man who's avoiding conflict. Like, he still has these things, and that is shown in his inability to really be able to navigate the losing of the child and the funeral and all of that with Tony. So while we're saying he can, he will, he can, he will, there's plenty of women who get with Lewis's who can and who will, and then arrive at 85 and he still ain't did it yet. And that is my worry for Jax.
But I don't think we're there yet, though. That's the whole point. It's like I don't
And
think that we're there yet, and I don't think that it's so like I don't think that we're at this point where it's so bad. Like they just not super toxic to me. Like there's some toxic things out there, but I don't see them as toxic. I see them as two people that are trying to grow. And yes, because I know what you're gonna say. And yes, Lewis is a little slower with his growth. But like I said, I think
the
it's
nigga
more
is
so of because
parked,
how they painted it.
EJ. He's parked, actually. But go for what you're saying, honey. Like, I hear you, but he's parked. It ain't no slow growth. The nigga's parked. He won't shift in the
To
gear.
do with But that has to do with the fact, like I said, because we saw so much of Jax's in our face, we didn't really see Lewis's so much in our face. If we weren't looking for like those, like I said, it was just so much overpowering of Jax's faults that when we looked at Lewis, we didn't see it. Yes, there were certain things, because for me, the thing that bothered me about Lewis last season was the fact that he left his family. To me, he left his family. And that's just like a non negotiable for me. So if it were me, not Jax, but if it were me, that is a non-negotiable for me, because once you leave this house, then we might as well just get divorced anyway. But that was one of the things that I had a problem with Lewis about it. That was my biggest problem with Lewis. But or just as I'm looking at Jax and Lewis as a whole and looking at both of the things that they've both done, both of the things that like all of the issues that they've both had, I just see two people who can reconcile and who can move forward together. And yes, Lewis got a lot of work to do.
Mm. Let me make sure it's back, y'all.
Mhm.
We back? I think. Back. Wait, where'd EJ go?
Went to get me
Okay.
some water.
Okay. Cool. Oh, okay. You need a second? Okay.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. I think we're back. Sorry, y'all. Lawrence, you were about to chime in. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly what EJ was saying, and I said this a little bit earlier. I was like, I just want to see how they're going to write him in season 3. Now, like EJ said, if he is still has a bunch of these character flaws, and if he's not still stepping up to the plate, I would definitely say, you know what, Erica, you was right. Lewis ain't got no growth. There's no potential there. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see if they're going to help him elevate a little bit in season 3. But if I'm wrong, I'll admit it.
It's fixable if he does the work. Uh-oh. She don't like that. Erica don't like it. Go on, let us have it.
Uh-oh.
Go on, let us have it.
Okay.
They
God
listening.
to let us have it.
Erica's like,
Wow, that
Erica's
narrative. Wow. Y'all see how my guests even do me? Let us have it, Erica, because you is nonsensical as fuck.
No, that ain't even it. We just know that you're
No,
finna come
no.
with it.
hey, Erica
Go
about to be
ahead.
like, the Negroes been the same for the last 2 seasons. What do you mean, boy? I'm playing.
Can we get a third season? It's like not watching a third episode of a season of a show and then saying it's trash. Can we get to the episode
It
number
is
3?
not. It is quite literally not like that, EJ. But I'm so glad that you
Baby,
said
please
that
hear our
because it's
cry.
quite literally not like that. And I don't even need to continue to say that the nigga's parked because he's parked. So it's fine. He gonna be here when I come back. That's perfectly fine. Like, what I think the part that is like the thing that people aren't taking enough consideration for me, and it was displayed so beautifully in this episode, and I swear I was so validated by this episode because we get the moment of her and Damon, right? And like we're talking about Lewis needs more time and Lewis could grow and Lewis can learn and Lewis can shift, which is all true. But what happens in the meantime, in between time, for the woman that has to experience the man that you are fighting to stay as? In this episode, with the whole Damon scene, they give us a peek into Jax's mind, which again, it was validating for me because I was frustrated when she flipped the switch and it's like, yeah, I want my husband and I want my marriage and I'm going to act like everything is fine. That's not how it works, honey. We would never be able to make that work. So in this, we got to see a peek into what the motivation and the intentions was from that particular decisions. And it was because she was literally blaming herself. It was because she now put his action on her because of some other stuff that she did. And for me, the moment that Jax decided to really get into therapy, to heal, to address all of the things that were the real issue, because whether people want to believe it or not, her throwing that coochie to however she wanted was not actually the problem, because it was done within the parameters that they had actually set for their relationship. And we saw flashbacks to like the voyeurism and all of that being the norm. So that isn't the issue. That might be the startling thing for people to see on TV, but her not being able to be open and honest was an issue. Her not really fully communicating was the issue. People want to say like, oh, she's emasculating him. I don't think that she ever did that. Jax intimidates Lewis because Lewis is an intimidated and insecure ass loser man. She can't stop being who she is. And in the scene with her and Damon, listening to her blame herself and take so much onus, so much accountability for the things that are happening around her that yes, she's a part of, but are not actually her fault, are not actually in her wheelhouse to control. That's the part that I think that we sleep on the weight of it. Because when we do that as women, that becomes the things that completely tear us down. Those become the like mechanisms and that kind of like the house or the walls that we build to box ourselves in, and it ultimately destroys us. So while people are waiting for Lewis to grow up, and while people are waiting for Lewis to be more mature, and while people are waiting for Lewis to grow, the fact that he hasn't is now being internalized by his wife, and she now has to continue to do additional labor, and he's not even doing none. That is my problem.
See, That's a fair
We gonna
assessment.
wait to see season 3. Season 3, Lewis.
Okay, well then when season 3, when Jax is in a crazy house, then I guess that's all that matters, because Lewis is gonna realize that Jax is now in an insane asylum because she done went crazy thinking that she was gonna be able to fix everybody and everything that people do to her is her actual fault. But as long as Lewis decides, you know what, maybe I need to be a little bit more assertive and own my stuff, that's all that matters.
You know what I would like to see now? Jax needs some other therapy. Now she had a therapist individually, but I don't know if they tackled all the things that they needed to tackle, because she had a lot from her upbringing. From the group therapist touched on it about the father and his substance abuse and abandoning her, and the mom choosing the guy. So we know what she's working with. What I would like to know is, what is Lewis working with? Like, how do we get here? Because that says a lot.
Oh no, Kira. He doesn't have to have his own therapist because nothing's wrong with Lewis. Lewis is perfectly fine in park. Jax is the problem. That's the point.
I don't think that Jax is the problem. Let me clarify that. I personally don't think that Jax is the problem. I think that they each have their own individual issues and traumas, period. I just don't think that Lewis's were very prevalent in the first season, which once again is why I keep saying that her stuff overshadowed any things that you could see in Lewis, because her things just kind of was like, pow, bam, they were out there. You learned about the father thing. You learned about all these different things. You learned about how she felt about Damon. And you can see that the relationship that she was building with Damon, it just wasn't the thing that they had, the thing that her and her husband had together, because grown folks can do what grown folks do, whatever they got going on, that's them. However, her and Damon seemed to have something that was a little bit deeper. When you're rubbing on a man's beard and you are going a little bit deep, that was more emotional than anything. And there was that moment where Lewis saw that, and I think he knew that. And yes, he reacted, and that, to me, that wasn't the right thing to do. But I don't feel like if he didn't see his wife doing that particular thing that let him know that he was losing his wife, even though this was the choice and the bed that he made, because I'm not absolving him of that, because he's the one who left the home. He's the one who chose to leave and give an ultimatum. That was all his choices. But I think in that moment, that's what made him also make the choice to go and start sleeping with Tony. And,
that was
here we are.
Okay, so even to hone in on that particular point, EJ, because your points are your points, and I'm not necessarily here to convince you of anything. I had you here because I know that you have some seemingly polar opposite points for me, and I think that that's what I need for a full on thorough discussion. So I want to be clear, I'm not necessarily here to convince you or speaking specifically to you of you're saying that Lewis don't need a therapist. That's more like me being dramatic and speaking to the audience that's okay with him. But that's the thing, we are not, as a collective, we are not taking those tallies, right? We see that Jax not only has the couples therapist, but she has her own therapist. Lewis don't have one, but you want me to believe that he wants to grow. She has shown so much that she has done to be better, and he has quite literally stayed the same and just said, but baby, I need you, and it's supposed to move me, and it doesn't. And I want to wake up the collective of yo, this actually is not enough. And you're saying that you didn't see the stuff with Lewis before, but now you do. So now, for me, it's you could have, that's fine. You didn't see it before, but now what is the excuse? And then are we actually paying attention to the toll that all of this is taking on Jax? Or do we not care because she's a dark-skinned Black woman who's strong anyway, so she's going to be fine?
I wouldn't say that for me personally, and I'll let everybody else speak to their point, but I wouldn't say that. I would say that I also feel like they both are putting these things on each other. Once again, I feel like we can't say that Jax has no. Now, while I'm not blaming her, because I want to make this clear, I'm not blaming her for anything, but I feel like they each have their faults in this whole situation. Both of them each have their own things that they have brought into their marriage that has taking a toll on it. And while
Well,
Jax is working on,
that wasn't my question. And I think
okay, go back.
I think that the inability to even assess on an individual level is it just speaks to like my issue, period, because it's very clear, like, people can come in and say, well, Jax was messed up before, and like this season she's so much better, and Jax needed to do X, Y, and Z. But when I say, okay, what about paying attention to how the things that Lewis did and how they impact Jax? Your next statement is, well, they both. So it's no problem for people to point out, you know, and really like measure Jax and all of what she did and the toll that it was on other people. But there is no focus. There is no honing in on and really like assessing, which I think is how Lewis is able to get to basically get excuses made for him, and it seemed like it's not that bad. Does that make sense?
He's able to slide by, just like when she was having that conversation with Damon, because Jax is not holding Lewis accountable. The only time we really saw her hold him accountable was at therapy after they found out about the baby. She called him a nunthed ass ninja and said all of the things, but it's like, if you keep stroking him and telling him you're a good man and you're always honest and I always trust you, and then making it seem like he's perfect, you have to be as upfront with him as you are with those kids. So if he has something to work on, and she addressed the one thing with the school and therapy, but you got to say it. Closed mouths don't get fed. If she keeps telling him he's perfect, then what's his motivation to change? Just playing devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my wife keeps, I know I have flaws, but if my wife keeps telling me that I'm perfect, I'm gonna just go with it instead of saying, "Sir, you're wrong. You're wrong." You know what I'm saying? She don't agree.
Okay,
it's okay.
I don't agree, but I love that you said it, because it's your valid point, and I love that. But like, I'm gonna go back to, and y'all want me to believe that particular person is not a loser. I don't need somebody to coach me to be a passionate, strong-willed person. I don't have to, like, I don't need somebody else to validate me in a way to be who I actually am. And that's the person that y'all actually get to experience. So, I mean, the question wasn't, was he a loser or not? But like, y'all's points just be driving home. Like, y'all, it's very clear how I arrived where I arrived, because you're telling me that she now, like, yes, she does need to hold him accountable if she wants better in the relationship. Cool. But that takes it to me to another place with the conversation, because she's also tried to hold him accountable, tried to be honest and constructively critical of him in various things, and he does not take it well. He's a very insecure man who gets very sensitive. So there's also that women have to face in like negotiating what is actually worth it and what is actually not. And I think Jax has decided, unfortunately, like too many Black women in these types of circumstances, that they would rather try to make most of it their fault and try to deal with it on their own when it's literally outside of their control. So he needs her to hold him accountable, to actually be an integrous, accountable person. Wow.
He shouldn't, but that's how it seems, and that's why I want to know what's Lewis's backstory. Why are you not able to recognize these things in yourself as a mature, grown adult with two kids? Sometimes it takes people to get there.
I think Lewis, that's a good question. What's his background, right? I think therapy is something that could definitely help out Lewis. I'm talking about him one-on-one with a therapist, not necessarily with Jax all the time, right? Just him with another man, just talking about some of the issues he may have, some of the emotional intelligence issues he may be having, you know what I'm saying? How he wants to be a better man and how he should want to step up to the plate, you know, as a man. And not necessarily have so many things, so many tactics and downgrades necessarily fall upon Jax's shoulders.
So what are y'all's thoughts of the Damon scene?
They're moving past that.
No, because it's tied in it for me. Like, the Damon scene was it for Lewis. That literally put the nail in the coffin for Lewis for me. There is literally no coming back. EJ's going to be waiting for your ass next season, Lewis. But I'm waiting at the door with the Vaseline. Be clear. Like, that scene was it for you. Like, you might have had a slim slither of a chance. But when I had to watch my girl sit on a goddamn curb and talk to her dead lover, the only man that she was actually able to be herself with, who didn't make her play small, even though his ass was crazy, and blame herself for your loser ass, it's up for you, Lewis.
But we don't even have, we can't say that as a totality, because
you can't say that. Erica can.
But we don't really know what their dynamics would have been. We really don't know. All we got are these bits and pieces of Damon. Not saying that
we can't say what. I'm sorry. What part are you saying that we can't say?
That we can't say that. What I can't remember exactly the whole wording that you just said, so I don't want to.
That she was able to actually be herself with him, because she was.
Yeah, because we don't know, we haven't seen them on a day-to-day basis, is what I'm saying.
We don't need to see them on a day-to-day basis. I
feel like we do.
This is so funny. I feel like we
get
to see Lewis on a day-to-day basis, and he puts her in a position to play small and to play down so he can feel like a man in the house. But we're not going to say that he does that. But then we don't get to see Damon on a day-to-day basis, and we can't see how much freer she is with this nigga. I'm sorry, EJ, the hypocrisy.
I feel like we need more. I'm sorry.
We need more material. We need more.
Y'all, all three y'all need more. All three y'all need more.
Just on the Damon thing. Just on the Damon thing, I need a little bit more. Okay,
Damon, well, how do you feel about the scene? Go ahead. How you feel about the
scene? The scene was dope. I love the scene. I love the fact that Jax finally gets to realize that this is, well, I feel like she knew that it wasn't on her, but it is true that as women, we do take on things and we try to put everything on our shoulders. And I like the scene where she basically just resolves herself of all of this because it's not on her. You know, Lewis made a choice. He made a decision. And that is what it is. So I love that scene. I mean, it's basically her talking to her internal self, like, you know, her conscious, her subconscious, or whatever you want to call it. So I love that for her. So I thought that was a really, really dope scene. And, you know, we got to see your crazy ass green eyes. I'm not mad at it.
I like the messaging in the scene. I don't like the messenger, but that's just me.
That part.
Like, not this man traumatized you in his last days. And that's who you sit on the curb talking to. Oh, okay, girl. I mean, go off, sis. But the messaging was great.
It was good.
I'm just trying to figure out who would be a better man for Jax. Would it be Cory?
Can you please give me the answer to the question, Mr. Tightrope Walker, before you go off into your own?
No, I mean the scene. I mean, it was okay to really do much for me. I just saw it as him basically saying, yo, like, don't put all this on yourself. He basically just trying to give her, to me, it just seemed like he was trying to give her some words of encouragement. You know, he was like the ghost from the past. You know what I'm saying? Old green eyes.
Interesting. I don't know. It's a little alarming for me that people are not catching the weight of like where Jax was mentally and like what that means for her as a person. And maybe it's because, you know, it's Damon and he kidnapped her and yada 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 yada. Inga is in the chat saying I want her to be with Damon. I'm not saying that. I've said consistently that I appreciate Jax being in a position to not have to shrink herself, not have to dim her light. And I want her to be with or in community with people who don't force her to do that. I think that Damon was a perfect choice to come to her. And I see how she was grappling and struggling with visions of him. And this was really beautiful in reference to the healing. But again, I'm going back to the point of like, I don't think people are really paying attention to what she said and what that spoke to for her internally. But then that's also not surprising because I think that we are kind of trained to not pick up on the very real cues and the things that could be happening with Black women. I think Cory using, the Zora, I think it's Zora Neale Hurston quote of like, if you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and tell you and say that you liked it or you enjoyed it. And this was also reverberated in this, like the fact that, and this is like no shade to y'all specifically, but I can assume without even checking social that the majority of people like saw this intimate scene of like, okay, cool, the messaging is cool on a surface level, but not really registered that this scene is literally the personification of that. Like Jax found herself sitting on a corner or on the curb outside of her house, suffocating with plenty of air, suffocating like from all the weight of all of the things that are happening. And I appreciate that she found a way to like free herself and to be able to grab air, but I hate that we are still ending or leaving the season without any real support for her to not get into this position again.
I mean, as a woman, I got the message. I just, like I said, I didn't like the messenger. I would have rather her sit there and be talking to her younger self, or, you know what I'm saying, to get the same message come from somebody else. But I don't know. Maybe it flew over my head that it had to come from him, but I got what she was getting at. I was just like,
I mean, I don't think so. I think that if you didn't like Damon and you didn't register or you don't see or you need more evidence that she was a lot freer and she was more of herself with him, then it's easy to miss all of the beats in this particular, or why she was basically psychologically calling on him. But even like him being the one that spoke to her, and even him being the one of like, you don't actually need me anymore, to me, again, just confirmed all of what I had already known in reference to him being that particular person for her.
What you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I wasn't a fan of him in season 1. I'm not gonna lie.
From the beginning?
No.
Were you seeing Lewis from the beginning?
No. Because he wasn't at home. I'm like, not you gave me an ultimatum and you're not at home. I just was watching the chaos. I was like, I don't know who she should be with, but it's not either one of them.
I get. All right, moving on. Are we surprised, or were you guys surprised at who actually is the person who killed JT and how all of that played out?
No.
No.
Saying it from the beginning.
I just think, for me personally, I'm just thinking it has to be two people. It has to either be the daughter or potentially Sally. You know what I'm saying? That's who I was thinking, but yeah, I just knew it had to be one of the two. But it was some good theories. I saw a lot of good theories on social media, but for me, it was just one of those two women had to do it.
Yeah, because it had to be somebody she was willing to sacrifice for. I started probably like midway of the season. I was like, probably the daughter. Because I'm like, oh, Sally.
I didn't realize that the daughter was in college.
I didn't either.
I just knew she was the older daughter. I didn't know she was in college per se. I just knew she was the older daughter, and I always thought that it was her. I always thought that it was. I just felt like it had to be somebody that she would be willing to protect, and it had to be. And to me, although there was a point where I was like, when they tried to start making us think that it was Sally, I gave Sally a little bit of percentage, but I was like, but still. Will she protect her that much? Will she give up her daughters, her kids for Sally? You know what I'm saying? And that
didn't track to me, yeah.
I think the only reason some people might have thought Sally is because Sally put the house up. And so it was kind of feeling like, well, is she feeling guilty because she did it and Chanel's taking the fall? And so that's why she put the house up. I think that's kind of what had people go there. And because it's a family member, so it's somebody that you might, maybe, possibly do that for. But I'm like, I know with Adrian, I'm like, it ain't Adrian. Because she is not about to sit in that jail for that man.
I hope not, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but when I tell you it's also up and stuck for Sally's ass next season, because for you to have not been at the damn, you know what, I'm going to let y'all get y'all's off first. Y'all's thoughts on Sally.
Y'all can go, ladies. I'll chime in after y'all.
Go ahead, EJ. Cause, woof, Lord.
Okay, so Sally. First of all, Sally was a lot of things. First, okay, so these are all the problems that I had with Sally. Let me just lay them all out. The first problem I had with Sally was that I feel like, regardless of Chanel telling you not to say anything, if you guys are all friends, if y'all are all in this friend group, Jax is not only just a lawyer and someone that was trying to protect Chanel and keep her out of prison. I feel like Sally should have went to Jax and been like, "Look, Chanel don't want me to tell you this, but this is what really happened." And I feels like that gives Jax a better chance to give her a better defense. And because this is her freedom that we're talking about, just because somebody say, "Ooh, don't tell it," hell no, we gonna tell it. We are going to go and say something. You know what I'm saying? If you see something, say something. That's what they say. So yes, I'm gonna go. And this is your best friend. These are your closest friends. And then to not trust your husband with this information, you just basically told this man that he wasn't ish to you. I don't care if this your sister, your mama, your whatever. When you take on your husband is your partner. He's that person that you chose to be with, that person that you chose to spend your life with. I'm not gonna mess up my house for anything like that. But that's me personally. This is just Erica speaking now. This is Erica, not EJ. This is Erica speaking. I'm not messing up my house, my marriage, my home for not for my mom, not for my brothers, not for my sisters. My husband is always going to be in the loop and know. He's not going to get a surprise. I'm not going to put that strain on us just because. If she had told him that, just think about, he might have thought about it differently when it came to putting up the house. If he had known just that little bit of information, he might not have been so quick to say, "No, we're not going to do it." He might have seen it from a different perspective, but you didn't give him that chance. Instead, you did something against him. You went specifically against his will, and then he finds out in the worst way possible. That was the worst way you could have ever found out anything. And then you expected him not to be mad about it. You expected him to be okay. And then you didn't even really give him really room to breathe, process it, none of that. You just wanted him to be okay with it. And that wasn't cool. I didn't like that. That was a lot of the issues that I had with Sally. I had issues with her, the way she was coming at Jax, the way that she was talking to her, like she was the problem when it was really just all of her own guilt.
Yeah.
All of her guilt from her holding the secret. I get your cousin said hold the secret, but no, I'm. It's just no world where I think that Sally is a real friend. That may have looked like friendship or whatever, but I don't think it was. I think true friendship would have been like, go tell Jax and Chanel just be mad at me. Period. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
Period. Here.
Oh, so nasty, so rude. I said, "Oh, you could tell that they're cousins," because the attitude had me blown. And then I really wanted to go back and watch season one because I'm like, I don't remember Sally being like this. But like EJ said, it could just be because the weight of holding a secret that's that huge. And why are we gonna ask the husband to put up the house and he say no, we put up the house anyway? I was like, ooh, mama, and then just sit there and be stank all season long. I was not messing with Sally or Chanel, to be perfectly honest with you, at all.
I just think when it is something that is so monumental like that right there, a life or death situation, a friend slash cousin is to jail. You have got to tell your partner, you have got to tell your husband the entire truth. Because that brother right there was deeply, deeply hurt. I think he said in the car or something like that. He said, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember, but I thought he said, "Well, I'm your husband" or something. I can't remember all the details to it. But you, I mean, just think if she would have told the truth and if she would have came out to Jackson and just told her everything, the case could have went a whole lot smoother. I just think, like I said earlier, you just have to break that little secret y'all had. It got to be broken because you got to tell Jax the whole truth. And that brother Chris, listen, as a man, if I was in his shoes, I would be highly upset too. You talking about we're gonna put up the house, you know what I'm saying? And then I hope I'm not jumping too far when I say this right here, but
You fine.
we saw them. Okay, we saw them go to counseling, and it was a quick scene. He was like uncoupled, so I'm like, wow, are they heading to divorce? Because this thing right here this secret is actually tearing up their marriage. You see what I'm saying?
Because even if she didn't tell Jax, if she told the husband might have told her to tell Jax. We just wouldn't be here. But
The way that her ass not having anything to do with that damn crime scene, but being willing to put up her damn house has blown me. Girl, what the... There's no way in hell. She could have told you all fine and good. I thought your ass was there. I thought you have some blood on your sneakers or something, Sally. Something that actually ties you to something and makes you liable. So you quite literally put your house up just for funsies. Girl, if there's nothing else, and it's like, with the damn coverage of this show, it's probably going to be like, Erica is not for marriage at all. I'm 100% for marriage. But listen here, Chris, if you want to pack your raggedy duffel bag and go, I'm not mad at you because this is who you married. And to get the shock of like, this is who I married. Not only did you compromise our home after I told your ass not to, but you did it and you were not even implicated in the crime.
And Chris was the reasonable husband in season 1. Chris was trying to rally the husbands together to get their stuff together.
He really
Go therapy. Lewis, I would advise you to leave. If you're not here, you can't tell anything.
And then everything that y'all said. Tell the fucking husband. Tell Jax. But like, it literally starts with me of like, this hoe was not even there. There ain't no cell towers, ain't no blood on her clothes. She was literally not there. And it took all of T-minus 17 seconds for Chris to say, we're not putting up the house, and her to go do it any goddamn way. You deserve this divorce, honey. You deserve it. I'm not surprised at all.
She was going to be there because she was on the phone with Sally when he came back. So I was like, oh, Sally going to come over there because she said he's here. So Sally going to come running over there. I'm like, wait, where's that?
No.
Sally?
No, scary ass stayed Sally. Where she was at, nice and protected. And then still puts her multi-million-dollar house up in Los Angeles.
What happened to her asking the parents? I thought they had money. What happened to her asking the parents? Nobody couldn't help them out? No.
Sally is so damn simple. Sally ass is one of the simplest hoes.
Sally should just went up there and put her that GoFundMe link on her Facebook page and called it a day.
Called it a day, Lawrence. Girl, you put your multi-million-dollar house up as if you were implicated and then you had nothing to do with it. And then on top of that, you got your ass up on the stand and was shaking and shit like you had something to do with it and something to hide, and you had nothing.
I'm sorry, but that was an easy fix for Sally. All she had to do was tell her husband. All she had to do was just tell him. Even if she didn't go tell Jax, if she had just told him, like, look, I got this secret and I'm not supposed to say anything. Like, that's like, no joke. This is me. I literally would have been like, Al is my husband. I would have been like, Al, hey, I'm not supposed to tell nobody, but I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you. You gotta know. I would just, because that's my best friend. I am going to tell I just feel like I'm gonna tell him. I ain't gonna tell nobody else probably, but I'm definitely gonna tell him. And I don't understand if you can't go to that person and be like, because I don't know, maybe I just see it different, and maybe it's just because the relationship that I have with my husband is a friendship that I know that if it's some stuff, and especially if it got anything to do with some legal stuff, he the first person I'll be like, look, this is what had happened.
Yeah,
but she but she also down there at the damn jailhouse talking to Chanel. I can't lie no more. You ain't had to lie to start. Then she didn't run her little I can't lie ass home and tell him then. Like, girl, you literally down there at the jailhouse having a nervous breakdown because these lies are eating you alive and ruining your marriage, and then you still went home and ain't tell that man nothing.
He alive. Wanted to tell him right before y'all went into the thing. I said, girl, this is like the wrong time. And that fool said, we just shouldn't talk. Like, this is why we don't talk. I was like, bro, you right.
I don't even care anymore. It's too little too late.
Child. Is there anybody that sees how he could recover and how he could forgive her and they could move on in their marriage?
I don't see
it.
I don't see it.
I can't see it. I feel like this is too big of a lie.
We can keep that house and continue therapy. We might be okay.
I don't even know if that's going to help. And the only reason why I say that is because of kind of where they are right now. Like, they literally have disconnected from each other. They don't have a connection anymore. There's no connection there. When, it's, and there's always the saying, like, you never want to go to bed angry. You never want to, not talk like that. But you can literally tell that they are not talking. They are definitely going to bed angry every single night. And it's had more and more time to fester. I don't know how long this trial was, but throughout this entire situation, all they've done is inch away from each other. How do you come back to it's going to take something major for them to be able to come. It's going to take so much work, and then that may not even work, because once the trust is gone, that trust is just completely gone. And for him, trust doesn't always have to. I know most people look at trust like, oh, somebody cheated or something. Like, that's not always what it's about. Trust is trust. Like, you didn't trust me enough to share this information with me. And that's wherein lies the problem, because now I'm always going to be thinking that you don't trust me enough to share the things that are important. It's when the stuff hits the fan that counts the most. It's not
Yeah.
all the little stuff. It's the big stuff. Like, when that stuff hit the fan and when I'm not able to share that with you, that tells me a lot. And I don't know I don't know if they're gonna make it. I don't think so.
It's the trust.
Sally was able to move past Chanel throwing her under the bus, because after I put my house up and you try to run away with your boyfriend, you're out and I'm happy, but I don't got nothing to say to you right now.
She didn't say nothing even after that. The hoe was on the run. She was on the run and you still piped, like, you still was a mute.
I got your child. You signed your child over to me. I put my house up. I'm gonna need a minute. I'm happy you're home. I just don't call me. I'll call you.
It's
I need a minute.
It's
the trust. Not talking at all.
It's the trust and going behind my back. Not to mention that brother sleeping on that couch every single night.
That's why he mad, because he's hurt.
I don't see how they can recover from this. I don't see him unless they can work out something about the house. Of course, it looks like they're gonna be going to therapy, but this brother right here is absolutely fed up, and he should be. If I was in his position as a man, and if my wife did that, and it took, I don't know their financial aspect, I don't know what they do for a living, but for us as Black people, whenever we get that home or that first home period, we put our all into it. You know what I'm saying? And for Chris, that brother is absolutely devastated. Y'all saw that look on his face when he said uncouple, like, and Sally turned her head. They done.
And I honestly think it might be
season 1.
Yeah. I think it might be also bigger than the house. Like, the house is a very real thing. But for me, what was most startling was who Sally showed herself to be after. It's all of the, like, girl, what you got an attitude with him for? You the one lost y'all's house. What you got an attitude with him for, and not validating his very real feelings of betrayal, and, like, you went behind my back. The way that she also, like, so I want to be clear that this is a thing for me, period. Like, she, whether male or female, she's not taking accountability and don't want to actually face the consequences of her own actions. And I can't actually respect you for that. I feel like there's a way back, or at least for me, there's a way back from some really dumb Like, there's very, like, I'm not going to say very few. Like, there's probably like 5 real non-negotiables for me. But then other than that, like, the other big stuff, there's a way back if you actually have remorse. There's a way back if you actually have accountability. There's a way back if you actually have a plan to never do certain things again, and you're actively trying to show me that that would never happen again. And Sally did absolutely none of that. She had nothing but attitude for her husband. She had nothing but attitude for Jax. At the end, she got attitude for Chanel. And then the whole time, you weren't even involved. This show who you are.
Yeah, and I think he actually says that at some point, if I'm not mistaken. He says Sally is different, or she's not the same person that I knew before. Something like that. I can't remember his exact words, but he says that, which lets us know that, she completely showed a whole nother side of her that even her husband couldn't recognize. So I don't know. I think I'll never say never, but I will say that it is going to be very, very difficult to get back where they need to be, because we also don't know exactly we know that they had been to therapy before, and he seemed like he was on the straight, and because he was trying to get everybody to go to therapy and all that stuff. So, but we also don't know the real ins and outs. We don't know if there was really why they were in therapy the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that we don't know, that it just depends, because what if this is like the second time that and they went to therapy before and something else was a big blow up. I don't know, I'm just speculating here.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be
Just depends.
Out
surprised.
there before they got married, wasn't Sally out there kind of like Jax living her best,
I don't
bending over,
know. I
busted?
wasn't paying
I
her
don't
no
remember.
mind
Because
until
when
this
they
season. I didn't pay her
Me
not a bit of
too.
mind.
in season one, when they had that like bachelorette party, I
Mm.
think they were saying Sally had been around the block and she was getting married. She was getting married.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She was turning into a housewife. Even though her family supposedly had money, so child, I don't know. That's what they had said.
I wouldn't be surprised in season 3 that we made them get a little flashback of, I guess like some potential relationship problems that Sally and her husband may have been having. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that, because they're going to set up and they're going to talk about the therapy session. So I would love to see that. Hopefully we can get down to even more of the nitty gritty of what's going on with Sally. And like I said, hopefully the house just wasn't one of the main factors. There had to be some other marital type problems before all this
Yeah.
happened right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I feel like we could get through the house thing. I mean, it'd be a big thing to get through, but still, I feel like that's material and we can still get through that. But I think it's the action behind it more so than the actual house and all the things subsequently after that, because you had chance after chance after chance to tell me the truth. You saw how this was affecting me. You saw how this was hurting me. You saw how this was taking a toll on me. So make me understand why you did this, but you're still not telling me why you did it. Maybe if I can understand why, then I can find a path to forgiveness if I know why you would risk our livelihood, our home, go against something that I specifically said I didn't want to do when we weren't on the same page. I feel like if she had she had so many chances.
Yeah, I couldn't even
Mm.
notice,
Like
honestly.
somebody else in the show.
Uh-oh.
Listen, don't even go there, Erica. Don't even try it.
You said
We talk about Sally.
We is talk about Sally. I
We
just
talk
was
about
pointing
Sally.
out the very interesting correlation, if you will.
it's a oh.
Correlations.
Moving on from Sally and her stupidity, we are watching Morris. What y'all call him? Cory
Cory
Chestnuts.
Chestnut.
Y'all call him Cory Chestnuts. We watching him make his exit in this episode. And he is literally what most people are like speaking to of like what they really enjoyed about this season. Cause y'all raggedy. No, but how do y'all feel about what we got to see about him in this episode? How do you feel about him potentially dating the domestic violence expert? Him getting his other client off and then exiting almost to like, it seems like he's not going to wind up returning. How do we feel?
I think Cory, he got what he wanted. Like he was able to get the Hispanic girl. I think her name is Isabella. I think she was able to get free,
Isabella.
and Cory's a smooth brother. You know what I'm saying? He's up there having a drink with the domestic violence chick. I can't remember her role exactly. I forgot. But anyway, they're having that drink and they're talking about the Chinese language or whatever. But I really enjoyed Cory. I really enjoyed that character. Very smooth brother, and I think this is going to put him into that national spotlight that he was hoping to get. But also, Cory was serious about this domestic violence thing. I don't want to get it twisted. Like he was definitely serious about trying his best to win these cases for women that may have been in some horrible situations. So I was happy to see Cory get that win. Isabella got free. Will he be back next season? We don't know. He said on IG he wanted to come, but only time will tell.
We need to work Cory in for season 3. Come help Jax and Lewis out, please.
How he gonna help Lewis?
Please.
Lewis can't even
I mean,
think straight when that man in the room.
Lewis
You
gonna have to
keeping us
take. I'm gonna
scared.
need you to
Look at
sit
you.
down, Lewis. I'm gonna need you to sit down, Lewis. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm just me and Cory. Here, but seriously, I guess the whole conversation that he had with his fresh, fast behind daddy, kind of put something in the back of his head because him and Miss Esther Atkins, I don't remember what her name was on there, made a little connection. So I was happy to see that, and we stopped pining and lusting over Jax, and we're able to get through the trial, and we got all the things that we needed. So yeah, I just need him back to help them out because I was like, oh, maybe he can help with that case because Jack's gonna need some help. She can't defend herself. So
that is so interesting, Kira, that you're actually even. Well, I mean, they are married, so I guess whatever. But
isn't she suing both of them?
Yeah, she said it was both of them on there, I believe.
I need a confirmation because if it's just Lewis, Jack Lee, that's where it's at. Bless your heart. Good luck.
Well,
it better say Jax.
Both of them.
It better say Jax and Lewis Stewart on there, because otherwise that is not of your concern.
But I think he said Tony is taking us to court. I don't know.
Yeah, like he says we. Hello. So I'm not. I need more. What y'all say? Y'all need more evidence. I need more evidence that Jax's name is even on the papers. Because if it ain't on the papers, drop them goddamn papers. That is not your fight, honey. That is not your fight.
Tony probably gonna say that it was Jax who caused her emotional distress and all this type of stuff. Like she's gonna be named in it. She's gonna be the especially when she came and stepped to her. She's definitely going to say that Jax has something to do with this. And the main focus of it is gonna be the fact that Lewis wanted the paternity test, and she's gonna say that probably had something to do with it. And it's gonna be a whole big thing. Honestly, at first I thought I didn't want to see this, but honestly, I think it's gonna make some good TV. I think it's gonna make for some interesting conversations. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I ask this one quick question right quick, if you don't mind? Okay, so maybe it's just me, but did y'all see whenever Jax, she got the bad news about Chanel, right? And Cory kind of was like, yo, come to me, let me hug you. But then Jax turned away. She saw Lewis. Lewis came and ran. Was Cory feeling some type of way, or am I looking too deep into it?
You wasn't looking too deep.
I think that's the moment. Yeah, I think that's the moment that he realized that whatever thing that he had kind of created for him and Jax, that really was it, and that she had chosen. It was like the moment that he knew that she chose Lewis and that it was time for him to move on. That's how I interpreted it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I think he thought he had a fighting chance when she said, "Oh no, I gotta go. My husband's having his baby." He looked like, "Yo, what? What?"
I would argue that I think that he still think that he has a chance, and I wouldn't. The way that Jax looked as that man was leaving, I'm not fully convinced that he don't. To answer your questions.
Okay, I got you.
But how did you? Oh wait, you already said that you liked, him. Did everybody get to speak about his role in this? Cory's role in this?
I didn't speak on it.
Okay.
Listen, I love Cory Chestnut. Every time he's on the screen, he's a vibe, and he can wear a doggone suit. I honestly would love to see him play more. I mean, I feel like he brought something to the show. And more than just the look. I mean, we know he's the looker, but I feel like he brought more than that. I mean, I love Morris Chestnut as an actor, but I really feel like him and Emma Yahtzee really had this vibe. Like they really had a lot of good chemistry on camera, and I really, really enjoyed that. And if we're about to get this whole storyline diving into like this whole situation with Tony suing them, I mean, who better to try to go and defend them than a Cory Chestnut? I can see that. I would be here for it. But if they're going to stand by what they've been trying to do, I know we only had one season, but you can see a pattern when you see a pattern. And if they're going to stand by that, then we're probably going to get somebody else. But I would love to see him pop in every now and again, even if we don't get him. But I thought he brought so much to this, and more eyes even were on the show than it was
Mhm.
last season, because last season I was like, this is an amazing show. Why aren't more people watching this show? But I feel like when we brought in Morris Chestnut, Michael Ealy, don't get me wrong, he is his own thing, but he is not a Morris Chestnut. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Morris Chestnut brings more eyes to different things. And I feel like that push that they had on social media, especially continuously popping Morris Chestnut up, I feel like that brought a lot more eyes to the show than what it was previously, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the promotional aspect. I feel like the promotion wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily there for season one. Like in this season right here, I've seen them on their IG. They're having IG influencers, talk about this show, and they're interviewing Kerry Washington and Ramal Muhammad. Like they're actually pushing it a little bit more with the promotion. And of course, like you said, having a great actor, a man that all the ladies love, Morris Chestnut, have him up there. That was also very, very huge. That was definitely a boost. No disrespect to Michael or nothing like that. Just saying, ladies go crazy over Morris.
Not no disrespect to
Mhm.
Michael.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people think Michael crazy in real life,
Mm,
but he's
Erica
pretty
is not one of
legit.
those
But
people.
he played crazy
No,
too
but he's
well.
really sweet in real life. Like Michael Ealy is really like a nice person in real life.
Didn't I say that? I said somebody said he was nice in real life.
And shout out
Yeah,
to
you
shout
just
out to
said
the
that.
DMV. I haven't said that publicly, I don't think. This is the first time I've ever said it publicly, but
Oh, okay. I know who it was. I think it was Demetria. I think it was Demetria Lucas, because she's from the DMV too. Said that he's really nice.
Okay. Yeah, like I love him as an actor. I think that he is dope and he doesn't get his just due. But I honestly look at him and Morris on the same caliber within the industry in reference to like calling cards, but I get what y'all saying about the women. I'm excited. Like I think that we're not supposed to see him again, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do, because I wasn't expecting to see Damon this season, like at all. And we got to see him quite a bit, and he, made really significant parts of it. So even if we don't get Cory back to the capacity that we got him in this season, I could totally see him still popping up and them laying the groundwork for him being integrated into maybe season 4 or 5. Like I like the idea of them like kind of playing the long game. And it's a little bit harder to do at this particular landscape because there's no telling when a show is going to actually get canceled or get greenlit. We're way out of the days where a show will get greenlit and they're greenlit for 3 seasons so they can actually plan and like do really cool things with different characters, because they're like, okay, we know that we have this many episodes. I think that, like y'all are saying, he brought a lot of eyes to the season, and then like you're saying, Lawrence, they did a better job with actually marketing the show, because they kind of did it like Scandal season 1. I remember when Scandal first premiered, I found out about Scandal the night that it was coming on because Carrie did an interview on 106 in Park the very last minute, and it was something I remember, like when she was doing her like press junket after. It was like the network had like decided that they were going to premiere at this time, and they just had to hurry up and make it happen. And people didn't, like, you were either on Scandal at the beginning or you picked up in like halfway through or the second season, because they weren't marketing that either. So I think I like the pattern that they set in reference to like each season. It's a different case. They're adjusting and they're bringing in new people. But when you do have someone like a Cory Cash who is just so impactful, then it's like it kind of sucks that they're in this pattern, because you know that you kind of gotta let them go and you gotta open yourself up for something new. But we're like, if who we gonna get that's gonna be just as good as this? I don't know how
He
y'all
did
feel
such a
about
good
that.
job. Can he come back and bring the new lawyer in? Like just a little taste, just a little something, just a little smidgen.
Hello. Listen, I was already like, I could see Jax leaving these white men, going to go start her own firm, and like Cory is her associate or partner. Like, I'm like, ain't that the natural like next step? Like, can we go there?
I like that.
Yeah.
Amen. Hulu cancel shows.
Did we touch on everything that went down? Oh, go ahead, EJ. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, do y'all think we're gonna have like Lucy's storyline kind of came to an end, but I know initially the other DA, I cannot think of his name, the one that Jax was really cool with, we would see him because, he's the DA. Do we think that Lucy's going to stay more of a fixture in this, or because I mean, we're kind of about to go out of criminal court at this point. We're about to go into a civil case. But do you think that this is going to be more of the side? Because I want a bigger case. I don't want the Lewis thing to be the main thing. I think that's a side story to me.
I think they'll still have the Lewis case. I mean not Lewis case, but a Lewis situation. But they are going to have a much bigger case. I think they're trying to write it where each season, like it. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. I just would hope that they would try to raise the stakes high, with these cases,
Yeah.
every season if they can. And as far as Lucy, in my personal opinion, I hope she's one and done. She could be back. Then again, I could be wrong, but that wasn't a character that I personally love. So I'm hoping that she's one and done.
Jax
Me
like
too.
Lucy. I thought that was going to be our season 3. I thought Lucy was going off that ex-husband, and then Jax was going to have to defend her next season. But they sold that up real quick. I was like, well, there goes that. Maybe something will happen to Tony, and then Lewis will get accused of that because they were going to court for this.
That's a good one.
I don't know. It's just real small.
Yeah, I was just like, Lucy, if you're not putting this little white man in the ground, I don't need to see you next year, honey. I really don't.
Me neither.
The way that you dragged your behind in that damn courtroom, acting like you do not know what this journey looked like, what this life looked like, what this experience looked like. Meanwhile, that man took, Lucy, please. She right up there with Sally for my ass, and it's lucky you only not in Sally's same position because at the 11th hour, you done got your senses about you and got that girl's sentence reduced. But other than that, you literally stood up there talking about you know what triggers him. You were just a gold digger, so you knew what triggered your little crazy ass white man. All right. I don't need to see Lucy again unless she is going to that extent, which the man is already in jail, so she can't. Or she now has to, her and Jax come up with some type of friendship because they bonded over cigarettes or whatever, and their kids at the same school. Right. And now she has to prosecute Lewis for killing Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Child, maybe that's the only way I want to see Lewis next season too. Lewis asking to be on trial for murder.
But listen, to that point, am I the only person who thought that maybe Lewis had unalived the baby? Because I went through a lot of different emotions when I was trying to figure out what happened. And I was like, oh, did Lewis unalive this baby? But I didn't know. Like, I was trying to figure out what the case was going to be, what it was going to be about. And when they swung that camera back around to at the very end, when Lewis is the focal point, I was like, did Lewis done unalive the baby? That's literally what I said, but...
You gonna suck your teeth, EJ, what I'm about to say. And I'm fine with that, because we see each other. I don't think Lewis is strong enough to kill the baby.
Listen, I don't either. I don't think that he would do it, but it was just a thought.
I'm not gonna hold you, and I love my girl, but I said, Jax, did you do this? I know you was making peace and cleaning up messes, but did you do this, mama? Because why are you down here talking about this lady?
When it happened, though.
She talking about, I want you to know I'm here for you. And what else? Because you could have texted that. Jax, baby, that baby coming up dead after you go down that hospital. I said, oh, she cleaning up for real.
Not in the NICU. It don't work like that. They'll catch you before you go out the door. They're not,
this TV. This TV, they be making stuff up. So they'll say some stuff happen, and you be like, "Dang, I know y'all know that's not how that works."
That don't make no sense.
I mean, I ain't even gonna hold you. I feel like the hospital is one of the easiest places to kill people.
Oh, for sure.
All you gotta do is unplug something, step on something, stop some oxygen, inject something.
Yeah, but you go in a NICU, you're gonna get caught. I can only attest to that because I had a baby in a NICU. They be people in there. Sometimes you don't even be in that room by yourself. So you can unplug something if you want, but I'm gonna catch you coming out the door when that machine start beeping. So I mean, but like you said, it's TV.
Hey, Miss Kira, let this theory live. You just had to go and destroy it.
EJ said, "Let me have my evil ass plan and plot, so we got some juiciness next season. What other
We
predictions
can
are
make it
y'all
out
thinking
the
about for
hospital, but
season 3?
okay.
What else are y'all thinking about? Did we get all of our predictions out for season 3 and what we maybe hope to see?
What about
That was
Mama
it.
Lou and that new man? Is he gonna cause some confusion and delay? Because I thought that was gonna be more than what it was, and she had pissed me off. I didn't want to see her at all this season. She
She
needs
pissed
some
you
damn
off this
work.
season?
No, I know she pissed me off season 1. I didn't
Oh,
want to see
okay.
her at all this season.
Oh, okay. I was like, what Mama Lou do this
I
season?
can't stand that hoe. I can't stand her ass. I swear I can't.
She over there trying to do some Beyonce fast, and you take your old behind somewhere and sit down in the hospital because you ain't got no fluids.
I can't stand a male identified ass woman, and I don't give a damn what age she is.
Because Jax is giving her a lot of grace. I'd have cut you off. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Like, you giving a lot of grace that you done show, even with this man in the ground. You still are kind of dusting me off to what actually happened, and now you got a new man.
That we
you gotta
supposed to
give
care
Mama the
about.
side eye.
She
I
talking
got
about
my
some.
eye
You
on
and you and Lewis have been through a lot. You'll be fine. Of course you think that, cause you. I'm gonna let her live until my breakdown, cause it's up for her in my breakdown. I swear it is. Do we
I'm gonna have to
think
salute
that
The only person worse than her is Mama Mavis, because I was glad that Chanel was like, we can make arrangements, but don't you never come by here. Okay?
I
And to
gotta
the left.
sit with that, Kara. Like, I gotta sit with that because I don't know. I don't know if Mama Mavis is worse than her for me, and I feel like I'm only feeling that though because at least Mama Mavis
Your child.
is real about who she is. I can see her coming.
Yeah,
I feel
can
like
let you know
Jax's
that.
mama is dangerous because she's so hooked on perception and like maintaining the
Yeah, she's
idea of
not.
something. That part feels a little bit more insidious to me.
Yeah. It's more frustrating because it's like you nice nasty, like you playing, but you know, deep down, you're like,
Exactly.
And it's like she doesn't want to acknowledge Jax's pain or even what was happening. Just because it didn't happen, that doesn't mean the grooming part didn't. Like, the grooming is where it starts and then it escalates. So, why is it so hard for you to believe this? Like, I just feel like your child is telling you this. And yet you're still kind of, I don't want to say glorifying, but definitely putting this man on this, like, I don't know. I had a lot
pedestal.
of yeah, I had a lot of bad. I didn't like
She
that
was not gonna make
at
that
all.
man leave after that last thing that she did. The
At
only
all.
reason he really left after he climbed in that bed with Jax is because she told him, "Oh, you gotta stop drinking," and he was like, "I'm choosing the bottle." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, all right."
Yeah, that was
It wasn't really
horrible.
like she put him out, and then she was crying. I'm like, crying.
That was a lot. And the fact that Naima like loves him so much and Jax is still trying, not to say, bad things about him. I was just like, come on, Mama Mavis. Now, goodness doggone well. Like, because I feel like she just doesn't, I feel like she don't believe it. I guess that's more so of what it is. I feel like she really, truly either doesn't want to believe it or she's intentionally being blind to it. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess because we only got to the grooming part and we didn't get to the final step. She's like, but like
Yeah.
you said, that's how it starts. So
Yeah.
had we given it time and he stayed there, then what would be your excuse? Then what would you hide behind?
Ooh. That part. Do we think that
So we
Tony
got to
has a
deal with.
case?
I don't see how as I just don't see it because I think she's just we all know she's doing it out of spite, of course, but I I don't see it. We'll just have to see that play out. I just don't see it because I'm like I just don't see it. I don't see it.
With Lewis, I don't know. With Jax, I feel like she's gonna try to get some footage from a camera somewhere when Jax was confronting her outside in that parking lot. She was holding her stomach. I feel like
Mm.
that's where we're gonna try to go with it because what else can you can only show distress.
Yeah, and then when you think about civil cases are just so different
Yeah,
than, anything that's criminal. Because I don't think this is
Lewis
a
gets the
criminal case.
money.
I'm pretty sure this is this is civil, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't know if she truly has a. It really depends on. It's gonna be depend on how they present it, and it's gonna depend on the eye of the jury, like how well it is presented and how they make it seem. Because one could say, like, technology is so different these days that you can have a paternity test while you're still pregnant, and not necessarily have a huge risk to the baby. You know what I'm saying? There was a time when there was a huge risk to the baby. That's why you waited till after the baby was born to do this. But she could probably make some cases there, but that also but then you also have to, there's so many other different people that you have to bring in it. You're going to have to say that they caused you emotional distress. You're going to have to say that they caused you emotional trauma.
That's what she's
This is
gonna go
all going to
for.
be about her feeling, because you can't prove another person's feeling, and that's what's going to have to be those people, that the jurors, that's what they're going to have to prove to them, is that this really caused her emotional distress, which then in turn caused her to have a preterm baby, and then everything that happened after that. That's how they're going to have to prove that, because there's really no way to physically say it, because then you got to blame doctors. There's so many other people you could blame at that point. You can't just stop with them. So it has to be about the emotional trauma of it. I don't know, it's going
She
to be
doesn't
hard
want
to prove,
anybody
but I
else
don't
to
think
be.
it's I'm sorry, Miss Kiera, go ahead.
No, that's what she's going for, and she doesn't want anybody else to be culpable. She's just going for Lewis and Jack. She don't care nothing about no doctors and nobody, no doula or nobody else. So
Exactly. So, Erica, question: do you? Because I don't feel like we really touched on this particular part of it, which I thought was an interesting part. Um, when Tony, she loses her baby, and the way that
mm,
she wants to mourn the baby is she wants to have this funeral. She wants to use Lewis's photo, and she just, she's just going into this whole mode of all of this. And she didn't talk to Lewis about it or ask him about it. She just simply just automatically assumed that this is the way. Now, not everybody really takes trauma the same way, or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people that, like, they don't want to see that. Some people just want to have something private. Like, everybody is very different. I feel like they should have really had a conversation, is what I really feel like. Because at the end of the day, getting so angry that you say that, I didn't want you and Jax here. Like, y'all chose. I told y'all I didn't want y'all to be a part of this. You need a village to raise children. Children, you need that. You need these people to be a part and be a team and to be a part of this child's life. If they gonna be together, and this is your child's father, you need them to be a team. So I know that she's saying this out of anger and hurt, but at the end of the day, I feel like you don't just throw a funeral on somebody like that, because y'all don't even know each other. Let's just keep it real. Y'all don't know nothing about each other. All y'all was doing was smashing. Y'all should have really sat down together. And I just think, I felt like Tony was wrong. And I'm not saying that because I know how you feel about Lewis, and I'm not saying that Lewis's reaction may not have necessarily been the best reaction, the way he just said no. But I do feel like he did say why he didn't want to see his son in this, in a, like that necessarily. But I just didn't feel, I need to know y'all take on the Tony thing. Do y'all think she was right the way that she handled it, not leading up
the
to
way
the,
she, I don't know
yeah.
about the way she handled it, but the way Lewis's ass ran out of there, like, this baby is gone. I am done with you. I am not doing no funeral. I done bought you some flowers. What else do you want me to say to you? What more do you want from me? I said, Lewis, you don't gotta run out of there quick like that. I get it. I
I,
get it. That's traumatic. But like, he didn't even say, just give me some time to think how I want to proceed. Let me talk to Jack. No, he was like, I can't do it. I take your flowers and be done with it. I was like,
I I heard you say the words conversation, right? If you
uh-huh.
remember, whenever Lewis found out that she was about to have a doula, right? There was no
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Said several times, like, Lewis, you know what? I could do this on my own. I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Even when, like I said, when Lewis found out about the doula, it was like, whoa, we didn't discuss this right here. That could have been a conversation, I thought. Even with the whole funeral thing for the kid, for the baby, that could have been a conversation. But in her eyes, She feels like she's completely running the show. Like there's no partnership. Like
She is
I'm
though.
sorry. I missed
yeah,
it. I missed it, Lewis. It cut out for me for a second. I mean, Lawrence, my bad. Could you repeat?
You're gonna be Lewis.
I know he
yeah.
is.
No, no. What I was
Sorry,
saying
Lord.
was, EJ was mentioned the word conversation, right? And I'm just saying, for Tony, there's no such thing as a conversation because if you remember, uh, whenever she was like, "Well, I'm going to have a doula to deliver the baby," Lewis was like, "Wait, we didn't discuss this." So even when it came to the funeral and all that stuff, it still wasn't discussed with times. You know what, Lewis, I don't need you. I can do this on my own. So she's running the show, and she's not even thinking about conversations because she's like the head person in charge. Even though they had the child together, even though they were smashing together, it's no such thing as a conversation with Tony.
Because she is. It's her body and it's her child.
Woo!
And if
Thank you,
nobody else is gonna
Lord have
show up,
mercy.
it's going to be her. I
He's
wish
not in
I
a
would
relationship
sit
with
on my
her.
hands.
Y'all don't get to now say that Jax has to have the conversation and we are a partnership. Then if he's in a partnership with Jax, then what the hell is he in with Tony? If Jax
I
owes
didn't
him
agree.
certain things, then why does Tony now owe him certain things? While I hear you, go ahead, Kira. I'm sorry, I actually interrupted you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, babe.
No, that was it. No, that was all I had to say. I just was honestly saying, like, as a woman, especially you're a single mom at this point now. The father is present. But essentially, you're gonna be making all of the decisions. So yeah, I can give you the courtesy of running it past you. But if you decide to take it behind on out of here and not do nothing like he did, who's the decision gonna fall upon anyway? So why should I not do what's most comfortable for me and for this child? So I mean. We don't like Tony. We know Tony's a bad guy, but when we got to like all of that type of stuff, I was like, no. It gets very tricky, it gets very sticky because I'm a mom and I'm a single mom. So I was like,
Yeah.
The
I
same man
I
that
could give you that
decided that he was
conversation.
perfectly fine with not being involved and then pop back up and then wants to be involved, you mean to tell me that he needs to have this big ass say? Very
I
interesting.
feel like there should have been a conversation though.
There could be a
She could have heard.
conversation,
She could have heard his
100%.
opinion.
100%. But I understand what Tony was saying when she said that, like, you and Jax literally forced your way in here. I knew that this was gonna be awkward. I knew that this was gonna be weird, and y'all said that y'all wanted to be apart. I realized that this was my choice. From there, like, while I think that Lewis shouldn't have left his goddamn baby, but if he wanted to throw up his hands, then he should have done it at the beginning. You don't get to now throw up your hands now. And I don't think that a mother who literally has to have a baby and then the baby dies after you already get to spend time with them, even like stillbirths, I don't think that you get to rob her of being able to have some type of closure by way of a funeral because you're uncomfortable with it. If anything, with you still having these competing feelings and these competing thoughts and these the competing feelings of like, I'm sad that my son died, but I'm happy that the baby is gone. Then the last bit of this for you in reference to maybe you don't want to actually see this boy or this kid in this casket, but that's it. Once that casket closed, you and Tony are actually done. That's when you really get to throw up your
Mhm.
hands. And like, I was smiling, EJ, because when you asked the question, you were asking, do we think that Tony was wrong? And I don't feel like she was wrong. However, I do feel like she could have handled it better. But the other part that I was smiling about was like, Lewis continues to show how much of a loser and lack of a leader he is because that is your choice. Like, while I get your very real feelings of like, you don't want to see a baby in a casket, that's real. But sometimes in life, we got to do that we don't want to do, that we don't feel comfortable with doing. And the fact that you decide to turn around and tuck tail and run out of there. So now this girl is not supposed to bury her son because you're uncomfortable with seeing it. And I feel
I
like
feel
she's
like it was
only
less
told
less
him
about that.
because he was getting involved. Like, had him and Jax not been involved, he wouldn't even known. The funeral was happening regardless. She's only doing these niceties because you and Jax have come around and made it seem like y'all gonna make it a thing where we have niceties and pleasantries. We don't actually have to have any of this. That's how I took it.
I feel that.
And I feel like it
I
was
feel
less
that.
about him wanting to see the baby and more about like I said earlier, he dodged a bullet. So now you want to have a funeral. Now do I have to have my kids come to this funeral? Am I gonna have to actually talk about this now? Because are we gonna try to skate past that with the kids? And now that the baby's gone, we're not gonna say anything? Or are we gonna tell the kids? So I feel like he felt like he was just his responsibility with the situation was done, and he would want to wipe his hands over it. He wanted to drop some flowers over it and leave. I don't know why he didn't think that that lady was going to want to do something with her baby's body, but
I think it
And
was
it
the way that she
sucks.
came.
Sorry,
That's
go
what I
ahead,
think
EJ.
it is. I think it's just the way that she brought it to him. Like in her moment, she's like already planned the entire thing and like this, that, and it's like your, like an event you're having or whatever, like a big moment. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
You've already planned it in your head, right? You already know exactly what you're going to do, and this, that, and this. And the preacher says this, and he says that the couple is this, and that's a lot to process because
yeah,
you are throwing all of this, like I keep saying, they don't know each other. Her way is different from his way. They don't know each other. They were just smashing. So I just feel like
yeah,
they should have had a conversation instead of just saying this. Oh, and I want to use this picture and da 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 da. Like to me, that was a lot to throw on someone without just stepping back and having the conversation. And I'm not trying to take away from the fact that she just lost her child, so maybe she's just in that moment. But
mhm,
what I am saying is that I understand that the reaction that might have been given, and it could have been a bunch of different things because two things can be true. I mean, that is very true. It could be what Miss Kira said, it could be that, but it also could be the very real thing that he didn't know how to process, that he didn't want to see his child in a casket, and he
Mm.
didn't know what to think of a funeral, because I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with that. Like, I honestly don't know if I would want to have a funeral. Like, I really don't know if that would be the play that I would go or if I would do something different. But I do feel like, as if you both are when you have a baby, there's the no, I'm not gonna go there. There's two people who need to make a baby, right? That's the only way that a baby can come into the world. I do feel like there should have just been a conversation instead of if this had been his wife, then I could understand it, because if it's his wife, I feel like he doesn't have a choice and he just got to go along with it because this is what, it just is what it is, because when you're married it's just different. But I feel like because these two don't know each other, and the fact that she was just throwing it so quickly, he didn't get time to process it. And did he react maybe the incorrect way? Maybe so, but I also feel like she also should have just been, that wasn't the right way to do it. I feel like it really should have been a conversation. And I feel like if we had a conversation about it, if we talk about things, we could have found a way to meet in the middle where we could have still had a funeral. We could have still did all of that and maybe just did it a different way. Not like this grand thing. I mean, this was a break baby. I'm just
Yeah.
I
saying.
get that it was
I don't
Absolutely.
know,
overwhelming. I
EJ.
just
I feel like you making more excuses for Lewis, because
I'm not making no
you
excuses.
you are, though, and you might not want to, but you are, because Tony should have reacted differently, but Lewis couldn't have in this moment. Okay, hold on, slow down. Can we actually discuss this? He immediately
mhm,
vetoed it. He didn't even
I
call
said
for a
he was
discussion
wrong.
to be had. So I think that part is very interesting. Even the whole, like, this isn't his wife, so she doesn't get the acquiescence that comes with like marriage. It's like, to me, that's even more reason of like, she's not actually tied to you, so she can do whatever the hell she wants. This is honestly just a little heads up in a courtesy that she doesn't actually have to afford you. I think it's a lot to even put on her to say that she has to consider Lewis's thoughts anyway. And I honestly liken it to the right to choose, right? Like, yes, it takes two
mhm.
people to have a baby, but if I decide I'm going to have this baby, this man not wanting this baby is not going to change the fact that this baby's coming.
That's a little bit different. That's a little bit different because I'm all about the right to choose. What I'm saying is that she could have presented it a different way. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that she shouldn't want to have a funeral, because if that's the way that she wants to process her trauma, that's completely fine. What I'm saying is that sometimes you have to meet in the middle, especially when you're dealing with a delicate situation like a break baby with
And
someone
from
who's,
what Lewis
you know what I'm
says,
saying?
do you really feel like there was a middle for him? Because
I don't
yes, she
know.
could have responded differently, but he also feels very firmly planted where he is. So at this point, it's kind of like tone policing her on how she delivered it, only for her to still get the same result.
But I don't know if we would have got there, because I don't, it's not even her tone, because her tone was fine. It was the way in which it was
It's
presented. It was presented
overwhelming.
like, this is what's gonna happen, and we're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this. And it was more so when she threw that picture, when she said, and I was thinking we would use this picture right here, and we would do this, and she was moving so
It's the
fast, and
only picture that she has. So like, what's the meeting in the middle for like the pictures? Like, it's not like they have a baby that's 3 years old and they have all of these memories to choose from, and they're picking from the nuances of like what can go in the obituary versus what can't. She has this one picture of him with his son, the same way that she might have a picture of her, and like this is like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. This is a very interesting take.
I get that it's overwhelming, but
So
I had the feeling that she didn't know he was even like. I feel like she thought he was kind of done with it from the baby passing, and him even bringing the flowers was almost a
Right.
surprise to her. So I
It
get
didn't
him
seem
being
like that any
him
of that
being
was planned. So I don't know if she planned to ambush
yeah.
him. She's in the space of
So
like,
I
and
get
I was
him.
actually surprised that she was so upbeat to begin with, to have lost a child. And I was actually
Yeah.
happy for her being in that space, because I know how hard it could be and how dark it can get very, very quickly.
Hmm.
I don't
so
know.
Yeah. So I get that he was overwhelmed, but we
I
could have
will
just.
say
I'm not
this.
saying
This
that
will be
he
my
didn't have
last
to
thought
react
on it.
differently.
I will say this. This was yet another chance for Lewis to show growth. This was yet another chance for Lewis to show that he is evolving into this leader that he believes himself to be.
Hmm.
And he tucked tail and ran, as he typically does.
Yeah, I wish he would have just been like, can you give me like a day? Can we put this off at least a day? Let me process and figure it out.
because
But
because don't forget also Lewis. We saw Jax caressing Lewis, because Lewis, like, he was laying in bed. He was going through his, like, I held him. It looks like Lewis was actually, I hate to say this, but it looks like he was actually looking to actually having this child. You know what I'm saying? But I just, like EJ said, I just felt like a conversation, and I just felt like a better conversation, because that was a lot to process. And I definitely understand your side of the
It cut out for me again.
wait.
Oh, you're
Wait.
back now.
Okay.
Okay, I was just saying. I just repeat what I said, but I'm just saying, let us not forget that, by Lewis losing his baby, it definitely affected him also. We saw uh Jax, caressing him. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I held him. And I just think I'm riding with EJ as this part right here. A better conversation could have had happened. I mean, that was a lot to take in, but he didn't have to be so dismissive of the whole thing when it came to the death of the when it came to the funeral aspect of Chaka. Keep in mind, you just said you was holding him and you were sad and all those things right there. It is a lot to take in, but
Lawrence, I also want you, while you're, recalling him being held,
just pictures.
it
uh-huh.
really
Sending me
feels like,
with
yes,
picture.
he is grieving the loss of a son, but he's also struggling with how shitty he feels for like being relieved to a certain extent. So there are way more emotions in this holding and consoling than just grief, which also adds a little layer of nuance that Tony don't even know about, while we're advocating for him to have a
Mm,
say in a kid that he 50% didn't even want to be here.
right. I feel that. I feel that.
You didn't know who her baby dad.
What'd you say?
Hmm?
I didn't say that. Go ahead.
Yes, you did. I can't. No, I think like Kira, when you first started speaking, you spoke to this a little bit, and like we know that Tony's the hoe, so we're not supposed to like her. I feel like part of it is that too. I think it's easier
Hmm.
to diminish her position and her feelings, not necessarily intentionally at all, but because of how she's been positioned within the show. And on a human level, I empathize with her. And honestly, I really hope, like, while I do have all of this smoke for Lewis, there are so many times where I see these moments as opportunities, and I want him to choose better. I want him to decide better in the hopes of giving me a glimmer that he is actually going to be better. So for me, it's just like, great, you continue on doing doofy Yes, this girl could have not sprung it on you, but you also showed up to her house unannounced with flowers, hoping to make that enough. Yes, maybe she should have better managed her emotions as it pertains to this funeral, but you're asking a lot for a grieving mother who is also a single mother, who is also a hoe. Like, there's so many psychological things that are happening for her that even put her in this position anyway, right? Like, whatever the hell's going on in Tony's mind, I'm just surprised that she even got it together to be halfway sensible from what we've actually seen. And I think it's not too much to ask for Lewis to, in battling with his feelings, right? And being, going back and forth between wanting the kid and not wanting the kid, and coming and doing as much as to offer flowers to console her, but then actually being a resource to console her versus focusing on how he feels about it and immediately running away. Even if he didn't want to be a part of it, in the moment he could have heard her out. Like, yes, it is a lot to spring on you, but a lot comes up. Like, look at Jax's life. Shit is coming out of left field all the time at Jax, and she don't get to talk. She don't get to decide how people bring information to her. She don't get to decide how people respond and react and what people do to her, and yet and still she has to handle it and move about. And I don't think is anything wrong with wanting the same thing out of Lewis.
True.
We just not gonna let Lewis live, are we, Erica? We just not gonna let Lewis live.
No.
Like, Lewis can't even have this one moment.
No, I gave him. You wanted to bring up the consoling, Lawrence. You brought that up, and I let him have that. I'm on his ass about this. I ain't even gonna hold you, and I ain't even tell y'all why. I said I'm gonna let you have it. He don't get all of it.
He got lucky that Lucy was so involved with that ex-husband that it never came out about him and Jax during the case, because I was waiting for that to bust out the seams at some point, and it never did. I'm like, because you all cross-examining a lady, I'm like, this is messy as hell. Ain't nobody gonna find out. No investigative skills. Y'all don't got a Daniel in y'all office? No? Oh, okay.
No,
I guess as long as the baby wasn't JT's, I guess it didn't really, they weren't trying to go that far.
Yeah, I guess not. And I was hoping it was as much as she was popping and locking, I was hoping that it wasn't his or JT's. I was like, well, how many other people? No, it's just the two of them. Oh, doggone it. That's it. I was hoping for Lewis's sake it wasn't his.
Yeah, sometimes I think because the actress that is actually playing Tony, I read that she was actually pregnant. I think it was announced that she was pregnant while this show was going on. So sometimes I just sit back and wonder, did they write this whole storyline together, like, in the future, considering that she had to come to them and say, hey, y'all, I'm expecting, I still could be on the show, but I'm expecting, sometimes I wonder about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have to see her at all this season. She just was a side character last season. We have to see, we need to see Tony. I'm just saying.
I think we needed to see the fruits of Lewis's sexual labor. So
I knew you was finna say that.
I knew you.
We had to see Jax's. Jax had to have hers. That's the problem. Y'all aren't really equal opportunity employers over here. That's what it. No, you ain't. It's fine though.
Yes,
friend.
I am.
It's fine. Same way that I can delusionally stand by the fact of I understand and get the Damon character, and it don't have to make sense, and I understand that it don't make sense. At some point, you gonna have to accept that you got a soft spot for Lewis, and he get to get away with a little bit of murder.
She team Lewis. She team Lewis over there.
This is more than team Lewis, child. You got soft
spot. Like I said, I'll be on the fence like this.
But I can call Lewis out on his stuff. Listen,
no,
I can't call him out on. Yes, I can. Yes,
girl,
I can call him out on his stuff.
You wish you could, but that's okay. That's
but
why
you can
I'm
call
here.
Him out on a
that's why I'm here, because you exist. Now I gotta exist to make sure we just balance it out. You know what I'm saying? So then we have well-rounded. They gotta watch your channel, and then they gotta watch mine, so they have a very clear perspective of Lewis.
Yeah, tomorrow I might be talking ish. Who knows? Next season I might be like, Lewis ain't ish.
Oh, next
Oh,
season.
okay. So then I'm just gonna go ahead and put this out there. I'm trolling you, friend. Next season, if you throw Lewis away, all 10 episodes, I'm in them comments. I'm in the bushes.
Mm.
Listen, now I gotta stay Team Lewis for forever.
She said I got to make a side note for
Okay,
next
look.
season.
Lordy,
not
did we
trash
touch on
Lewis.
everything, y'all? We did touched on Lucy, who wasn't really that much of a factor.
I
We
felt like
probably
that
gonna
was
still
the
see
only
her.
part that we didn't touch on, was that part that we just talked about. But I think we touched on everything else. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Is Chanel getting back with Adrian?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I don't think
I
so.
I think
She need to
yeah,
go sit her butt down somewhere.
I was happy about this, right? I was happy about this part right here. Chanel, of course Adrian's like, yo, I said once you're married, yeah. Kind of like need to choose myself. I thought that was dope. She wants to heal. She wants to, try to rebuild her life. I think Adrian definitely is down there, waiting down the aisle later on, but I was proud of Chanel for actually choosing herself in that moment.
Absolutely. Me
Same.
She made the
too.
right
And
choice.
and I think that people come into your lives for a reason and sometimes for a season. And I don't think that Adrian is her forever, but I think
Mm,
that Adrian, especially based off of the way that they got with each other, because sometimes you do have to look at that. You have to look at the way that we found each other. But I do
Yep.
feel like he was there to provide her that strength, that extra little boost of strength that she needed in order to walk away, in order to show that she was worth more than what JT was putting out there. He showed her that, yeah, you are worth it. Somebody can love you, and I feel like he was just needed in this moment, but he's just not her forever. If they had got together in any different type of way, I might say differently, but I just feel like the way it started is just not the fairy tale that I think that Chanel necessarily deserves or needs, to be honest. Like, I think that she needs to move on from this and that she just needs to like heal herself, be with her kids. And then we got Natasha, who's still going to have some trauma around unaliving her father. She's going to have to be there for that. And I don't think introducing another person into their life right now is the play, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think you're
Yep.
right
Chanel's
about
got to
that.
go to the Jax route and go to therapy and get her healing on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm definitely proud of her for choosing herself, and you're so right, EJ. Spot
Yeah.
on. Come on, we agree
Yes,
sometimes
look at us.
when it
Look
ain't Lewis.
at us.
The line is in the sand as it
Listen,
pertains to loser. But
listen, that's okay
everything
because
else.
we probably agree on Zach because I don't think he is either, but we probably agree on that. And I can't say
Baby.
that because they will come for you about they Zach.
And guess what? Erica's standing here waiting at the door.
what? Are
This
y'all talking about?
season,
Y'all
yes.
talking about Satima?
Yeah.
I have taken my gloves off. Wait till y'all, like, I dropped my first breakdown before this live, and then the second one will come tomorrow. I'm done. I'm done playing nice. I'm done. I'm done being empathetic. I'm done with you hoes on Twitter. I'm done. When I tell y'all I'm done, I really mean that. I lit Zach's ass up in both of those breakdowns because you got me chopped and screwed.
Oof.
Erica, the mediocre man Avenger, immediately yes.
Dang,
Immediately yes.
A mediocre man.
Erica with the flamethrower out here.
Period.
Listen, but she ain't never lied about no doggone Zach. I don't know what people be seeing. I don't know what they looking at, but
Deval's
I
fine
try to keep it
ass.
close.
That's what it is.
I was like, that's what I said. I said people can't separate DeVal from Zach because this is not it. This is horrible. I wanted to see so much more from Zach. I mean, I know we on a whole different show, but I'll just tell you what I wanted. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him say for once, just like I didn't want her to be the one to say, oh, try to keep him from this thing because life is going to happen regardless. And you have to make a choice to want to be with your family and to want to, you got this new kid coming, you trying to protect your assets, you're trying to grow, you're trying to do all these different things. And shouldn't he have to make the choice? Shouldn't they be able to give him that information and then he make the choice not to do something stupid that would jeopardize his future? That's all I'm saying. That is it. Period. Like, and that's on him. That stuff was irritating me. And Fatima was irritating me. I listen, I ain't got no problems with Fatima, but she was irritating me because she was enabling the hell out of that. And I said, why are we doing this? Just tell him and let him make a decision. And this will show you who if Zach has grown any. Period.
To
But
which he hasn't. Him and Lewis are parked in the damn same parking lot, just at different corners.
you was gonna come with it. But that's all right. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
But I tell you, the looks will get you every time. Listen, EJ, they already light my ass up. They got Reddit threads about me. I got like 300 people blocked on Twitter. That's fine. This is gonna be. They thought I was bad before. No.
Hey, girl.
Hey,
You Reddit thread. That's when you know you made it.
Well, the
Eric.
All American people got the Reddit thread about me. I don't know if there's a team of people on Reddit yet, but the All American people over there writing their little angry ass letters about me.
A regular All American.
Yes.
All American.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Erica, I thought you said I thought I heard you say this a couple lives ago. I thought you was trying to eventually, or maybe I guess you guys were just going to have like a round table point in time about some of the men, about the shows that you cover. I thought I heard you mention you was going to try to get that going with some of the other ladies.
Yeah, well, they were going to put that together. I think that was a Tamika thing. I'm definitely going to rank a bunch of them, and y'all going to be mad. But you know, they can throw out the shout out when they put that together. Because I had I think I was over on their live and I had made the correlation between Lawrence and Lewis, and then Tamika thought that was a good idea to kind of like go through and start talking about them. Listen, I'm gonna always advocate for us, especially if we're operating in excellence. We need to be met where we are versus having to leave and go get people. I'm tired. I'm tired for myself. I'm tired for the people around me, or the women around me. We is tired, boss, and we ain't gonna be able to make it enough. Before we get up out of here, or before y'all can share what y'all got going on, and then we get up out of here, we didn't talk about little Miss Naima, who I think is going to play a bigger role in next season. And this is terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, this is terrible. What I was thinking. This show has now trained me to expect the worst and things to pop up and like have a big case that I said, is Naima going to kill Spencer and then they have to figure that out? It just came up. I'm not really feeling it. I don't necessarily know if that's a thing, but the seeds and the anger of feeling ignored and him I'm like, if we about to get the prodigal child?
Woo! I just think she about to wild out next season.
He gave her a little woo woo woo. He gave her, she okay. He gave her a little woo woo woo. It's okay. Daddy love you.
Y'all think she all right now?
Nah, she gonna wild out next season. They gonna set it up for her next season. This season was focused on the son. Next season she about to wild out. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I could see them putting more focus on her. It's only right. I mean, if you put all the focus on the son this season, you definitely should put the focus on the daughter next season. I don't know what she can be doing, but I got a feeling she about to wild out.
I don't know how Spencer slid that little girlfriend in there when that was where they was doing all that funny business either. Because I'd have been like, we're going to talk about that when we get home. That's when you got in trouble with that vape pen. Girlfriend, my eye. But anyway.
I don't know.
We think
I think
Naima
she's
going to have some growing pains, but she's not going to take nobody.
Okay.
I hope so anyway. Naima.
Like I said, I feel like this show trained me to like expect the worst, and I'm trying to look around every corner like, what you about to hit me with? I ain't trying to be surprised no more.
I know that's right.
But y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me. EJ, what do you have going on your channel? Where can people find you if they want to hear more of your amazing, delicious Lewis takes? And then some. I also shout her out for family business, y'all, because she be reading the books. So all the family business people, I'll be telling to go to your channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the family business. That's my show. But yeah, so of course you can find me at EJ the TV Junkie. What I have next coming up on my channel is right now, of course, we're doing Found, which is going to be tomorrow. Tamika's Dan and I, we do that. Or well, today rather, because it's already tomorrow. Today we're going to be doing Found. Reasonable Doubt, we're actually going to be talking about that. So if you want to hear some more Lewis takes, you know, Team Lewis, because I'll be the representative for Lewis, because he needs somebody in his corner.
Be riding for him. Inga is riding for him, honey. Inga's ass is riding for Lewis too. Y'all had plenty of people. I was over there by myself fighting for my life. Sorry, go ahead.
But so we're going to be talking about Reasonable Doubt. On Saturdays, I do a book club. Right now, we're doing the Family Business Book 7, New Orleans. So we actually do that inside of the Discord. So if you're into the books, then you can definitely come and join the Discord, and we do the book club there. We also do another little book club because I like read my books, y'all. And we're about to start reading Eve, Who's That Girl? So we're doing that in the Discord as well. And then on Mondays, we do From. And then I don't have anything else going on, but I'll be actually starting back up my family business talks. So definitely, if you're a family business fan, join that. I have tons of content over the family business, and All the Queen's Men is headed back. So definitely finna start making some content for that as well, because that's my other show. And Madam can't do no wrong.
Come on, Madam can't do no wrong. I'm here for that.
Mm-mm.
I'm
None.
here for that. Y'all, I will also
I'll be
have the link to.
rationalized.
Me too. Me
Rationalize
too. Because
everything.
even that damn walk, it's already up and stuck for me. Because Eva, all she gotta do is walk, and I'm like, yeah, you right. They shouldn't have did that.
Mm-hmm.
Your sister deserved
Mm-hmm.
it.
You deserve every bit of it.
I'm gonna definitely link everybody in the description box. So if you're catching this on replay, you can just link and go, or click the link in the description box to go and check out EJ. Kira, what you got going on your channel, boo?
So my channel is Miss Kira Speaks. It's all one word. We do a bunch of everything over there. Your girl is a mom and I have a full-time job. So I am your weekend warrior. Come hang out on the weekends. I think what we're going to do a Reasonable Doubt, since I missed a couple episodes, just do this last episode and wrap it up and call it a day. Sunday, we have a Love is Blind season 7 episodes 10 and 11 recap on my channel with me and a couple of other ladies. Also, we'll be doing Found that night and The Penguin. So come on over.
I'm
And check
behind on the
them
Penguin, but
out.
I love the first episode. I was like, oh my god, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
do this.
So good.
Yeah, so
So
check
good.
out Miss Kira Speaks, y'all. Lawrence is not on camera, but go ahead and shout yourself out, sir, because you got a channel as
Cheer, cheer,
well.
cheer. As always, Erica, thankful to come on your channel. Been rocking with you since the All American days and still here. You know what I'm saying? Always a big fan. For me, I should have my Reasonable Doubt review tomorrow. This weekend, I have 2 lives. I'll be joining some other people. I'll be talking about Found and Reasonable Doubt. My latest video that I did was talking about the ladies love him. Another Mr. Green Eyes. I'm talking about Aaron Pierre. We know he was cast as John Stewart, but there's been some controversy
Child,
about
child.
him being the Green Lantern when it comes to the whole light skin, dark skin. So I kind of dived into a little bit. I'm probably gonna go into probably go into a deeper dive about the whole colorism aspect of the Green Lantern. So I always say my channel is like half black content, the other half is like superhero related because those are 2 things that I love. So yeah, check me out, the Lawrence Report. And like I said, Erica, always great to join you. Always we can chop it up about our shows.
Thank y'all for putting up with my unhinged ass.
Listen, girl, you know we love you, and thank you for having me. This is
Yes.
crazy because I feel like I feel like we've kind of been vibing with each other for a minute, and this is my first time ever being on your channel. So
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate being over here hanging out with you, and getting to, dig a little bit deeper into all of your shenanigans. I feel like we have great shenanigans
We
together. That's
do.
what makes it so fun.
It is. And I love that you stand firm and where you're at. It just gives us it gives me so much to be like, well, and then I gotta come back and like strengthen your argument, strengthen your argument. So I actually really, really love it. And I appreciate y'all. Like I appreciate you guys supporting. I think that's how I came across each of you in supporting the channel thus far. And listen, if you are listening or to you guys I'm speaking to right now, I be doing a lot, but I am so open. And I'm like, I was thinking today, like, oh damn, I would love to have more people on and I would love to have like a dialogue, but I don't be reaching out and I don't be thinking to until like the very last minute. So if there is something that you want to tap me for, if it is something that you want to collaborate on, then feel free to like reach out because I think that these conversations are necessary. I am really about in my content hopefully, like, yes, it's entertainment, yes, these are TV shows and these are films, but ultimately there's so many themes that relate so close to home, and I want to be able to help move the collective consciousness forward and specifically like advocate for women. So if there's anything that you guys are working on, please don't hesitate to reach out. I really don't mind it, and I would love to be a part of it. But my ass be like in my own world most of the time. I feel like people probably see me and just like, oh well, she don't have nobody on her channel, so maybe not. And I appreciate EJ, like you reached out to me, I think a year ago was the first time I was on your channel. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Okay, let's figure it out. So yeah. And
Yep,
everybody is
all the good
growing,
things.
so y'all go ahead and subscribe. They all create really, really dope content. They have really, really great conversations. All right. Thank y'all again for joining. I'm going to go into the chat and make sure I didn't miss on too many of y'all's comments. I'm going to say good night to my lovely, lovely, lovely co-host for the evening. See y'all on the next one. Let me see what y'all are saying in this chat before I get out of here completely. I know Inga was going ham, living her best life, getting her off. Advocated for Lewis, probably, definitely. Jax got issues too. Yes, Jax is always seen as the problem to those children. Lewis gets to look like the hero all the time. Yes, and next season, I guess this is where we're going to see Lewis actually not look like the hero, and the kids, the armor for Lewis gets dinged up a little bit. Like Jax has definitely caught the L's, right? She's caught the L's. She's had to take the position of the bad guy often, and now they're not gonna be able to hide this case. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. And if he's even going to be able to honor his word of like making time and paying attention to Naima, like now she's going to want to hold him to it, right? She's going to want him to show more interest in what she got going on, but he's going to be stressed about this actual this case, and that could become the thing. So they're not necessarily paying a bunch of attention to Spencer anymore, but they're paying attention to the dead child, and Naima could still not understand or be frustrated or have very big feelings about that. That could be very interesting. Shout out to Candy Loves to Talk TV. I got to get you up here too, babe, at some point, because she has a dope channel as well. Tamika's Den was up in here earlier. Y'all go ahead and check them out. Lawrence, you're hilarious. Not the Can Lewis grow ? In the daggone chat. Season 3, Erica wants them to get divorced. Yes. Well, actually, like I will say this. I'm going to say this in my breakdown, but I will say this. Being able to see her have that scene with Damon was ultimately what I really wanted. I wanted Jax to be real about the very real things that are going on in her versus lying about it or covering it up or ignoring it. I am actually fine with her choosing to stay with Lewis if that's actually what she wants to do, and she's not doing it out of obligation, and she's still making space to honor herself and how she feels. And, you know, to, I think, Kira's point of like, she has to now hold Lewis accountable to be the man that y'all believe he can be, and ultimately that she deserves. My biggest issue was when we got into, you know, episode 7 and, or not 7, 8 and 9, where she's like, I want my husband back and it's going to be fine. We'll figure it out. To me, she just kind of like shoved all her feelings under the bed. And it's like, oh, I can't see him, so I can't feel him. It's like, no, girl, this is not how this works. I knew in my spirit, in my heart, that she was taking credit for being the catalyst for Lewis doing this thing, being a catalyst for this break baby being here, like taking on way too much responsibility for things that were outside of her control. And I felt like that wasn't fair for her. And for her to be in that space and then not even be able to really unpack those feelings or honor those feelings frustrated me a lot. Now we're at the place where she's able to release Damon, release all the guilt, release the shame, find grace, and she's still choosing Lewis, then I'm okay, and I can respect the fact that she's choosing Lewis, but I can't respect that she's making that particular choice when it's seeming obligatory and when she's completely ignoring herself internally, if that makes sense. So we don't necessarily have to see them divorce next season, but I'm on Lewis's ass regardless, so she can go ahead and still love her husband, and I cannot like his ass not a bit. And I still, you know, I want Jax basically to be happy. At the very end of the day, I want Jax to be happy. I want Jax to be in a relationship that serves her in addition to her serving her partner. I want to see women in full expression mode and not diminished by their circumstances, by their partners, by their kids, by none of that. And hopefully we get to see that. He didn't have that test 32 years ago. I think that Tony is going to have a lot in reference to the emotional toll that parts of this took. But to, EJ's really brilliant point, there's so many other hands in this as well. Like the doula, the doctor, and then also how much of the stress for this pregnancy was brought on by you, because girl, you was smashing all types of men and you had to go get your ass up on that up on that stand because you were subpoenaed as a person who slept with JT. Like that is all outside of, like, yes, Jax is a part of the legal counsel, but that's all outside of the preview of her actually subjecting you to any type of emotional distress. This is distress from your own damn choices. So I don't think that this is going to actually be able to go far if it's simply a case about, emotional distress and put her in a position to have the baby early. But I definitely think that that's the case that she's going to try to make. We all was in agreement for Sally's ass. All right. I do still have my breakdown coming. It's going to be a nice thorough breakdown. And I didn't get to share with y'all my video from In the Moment of processing the Damon and Jax scene. So I may put that in the breakdown video if that's something that y'all want to see. Or maybe I'll make it something separate. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I will definitely get that to you guys. And you should have that by tomorrow. As well as the Zatima episode 6 breakdown. Hot ass mess. Again, I thank y'all so much for watching. I'm sorry, so sorry for all the technical difficulties at the beginning. But if you stayed here and you stayed watching throughout, I greatly appreciated you. Brittany, I wish I would have gotten a chance to get you on here, but I think you probably went to bed by now, honey. So maybe I need to do another Reasonable Doubt Live just as for like opinions and other stuff if you need to get some stuff off your chest. If you normally call in as just a viewer, maybe that. Let me know in the comment section down below if that's something that y'all want to do. If you're watching this on replay, I thank all of y'all for watching, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.